Final Ninja Battles is upon us, and we have to talk about the differences this time around because it is not 20 teams. There are going to be many, many more contests off spawn. You'd already see that happening at Retail Row. You could already see that happening potentially over the Stark Island. So many different things are going to be changing this time. Not only the off spawn fights, but the rotations too.
Yeah, you saw Cape Cod as well, the southernmost island there. Two teams landing on it, splitting left and right. Take a look at this. Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper Hero also being contested on the drop spot, but they're going to land together. It's going to be a good old-fashioned axe off, and Ninja gets hit down to 20 HP. It's not looking too good. It's up to Ronaldo now to find a weapon and hit the main street, which he is doing. Ninja's got himself a weapon too. This is close.
Nice. This is not bad. Ronaldo has a whole section to himself. Oh, how do you find an AR in that room? That's got to be what Ninja's sinking right now. TAC SMG on one spawn there. Paper, and also a fight. He's down as well. And it looks like Ronaldo, right off the bat, has to fend for himself. There's two teams here. I was already wondering. I was like, wow, hold on. Ninja's going to Salty Springs, which we know. Nate Hill and Funk Bomb and Bully were landing here in a similar split recently. So quite funny to see Ninja go against his former teammates. But there's also Kaz polarized inside of Salty Springs too. And it looks like they're taking the lead so far.
Yeah, and just take a look right here. I mean, the thing about it, though, is that at least if you get taken out this early, you get to hit the drawing board. You can see the drop spot map and hopefully make some adjustments. Obviously, a team like Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper, they're a makeshift squad, right? They're going to be able to put together something new. Talk about that Brazilian team. Is that them right there? Also engaging here. So it looks like they are the team landing here in the Salty Springs. That's one that you couldn't even guess. Probably the toughest to do the homework on, but Kaz and Polarized come out on top.
They come out on top, and they also have one player, actually all three up. They're going to chase down the last member here of Ninja's squad. It's Ronaldo, and all he has is an AR and a charge, but no builds. He could make this work, but it'd take a miracle, especially with Kaz coming up now. He might try to take this 1v1 or just jet on out. Yeah, no hope.
Oh. Vehicle goes down. This is going to be a rough one now as Ronaldo's running into the building. One build remains now for Ronaldo. 10 seconds to pop this off. You have to assume that it's not going to be successful. Of course not. And now this is it. Backed against the wall. Animal in the corner. What are you going to do? Ronaldo trying his best there. It's a 3v1. It's not looking very likely, but we'll see if he can get a point or two. Do something really cheeky. Valiant before he goes out of the lobby here.
He's still working with the car. I think it's going to blow up so fast, although they could be running out of ammo. No. And one final explosion. Ronaldo will go out with a roar. Over at Retail Row, smacked Unknown and Casker against Tilt, Jared, and Tax. And all three members are up on both sides.
Jared, Tilt, and Tax haven't had a lot of success, or at least Jared and Tilt in the Ninja format. We'll see if they have a better day today, right? They've had a lot of opportunities. They've played in a fair amount of the weeks here. You have to assume they've learned something since. But it's Unknown who's putting the pressure on from one side is Smack. Just the perfect pinch here between the two. Tax putting in some work, though. Not going down without a fight.
No, he's not, but meanwhile, Jared is trying to pick up Tilt. Unknown will try to interrupt, though, and he will. Jared is off of the res, off of the materials. And now they've got two down players and just one left to root out, while the entire building seems to also be on fire on the backside. Tax, last player remaining. He got himself a metal box. He'll try to make a play on Casker, but it's not fast enough.
I will say I'm a bit disappointed in Unknown not going for the headshots on those down bodies. We know Storm Surge can be a big factor in trio style game modes, and it's a difference maker, but either way, a little bit of optimization, something to think about when you put yourself in these situations. Still a good 3 points to kick it off, and now they're the kings of retail for now.
That they are. A clean fight will start to make Tilt, Tax, and Jared think differently about coming here next game, so we'll have to keep eyes on that. Scoped, High Sky, and Twexy have found themselves a little pack of potentially frags right here. A couple points on the board if possible, and they are pinching them from all sides. Punisher does get himself a little space, though, up above.
Yeah, Punisher's kind of vibing up right here. Replay's going to do the same and elevate himself just a little bit here. Looks like everyone's in a bit of a 1v1 skirmish. Uh-oh is correct. Polarized and Kaz coming out of that Salty Springs. They hear the action, but I only see two crosshairs, so I'm not sure if they have the third. Regardless, though, Replays with a beautiful flick. Might beat Scoped in a 1v1. Turns around as well. That was close.
Yeah, but High Sky came in at the right moment. Speaking of right moment, Kaz and Polarized don't know where Kearney is at, but they come off of Salty Springs to try to get a piece of this too. Scope very low. Twexy also. Nick A30 responding back. Oh my goodness. Shots being fired on all sides. That's one squad down, but Scope left alone against the onslaught of the Salty Springs team. 2 players are now hunting him down.
He's got one more Chug Splash. We'll see if he decides to use it before going up here. This is his perfect opportunity to take the 1v1 before Kaz steps in, and now a little too late. He is in a 2v1 situation for sure, being hunted down here. Last Splash is going to go down, so this is it. Back against the wall here. Pump's not going to connect again. Unfortunate.
There he goes. Tried to make one more play work the 1v1 situation. It doesn't connect. That means, how many elims is that for Polarized and Kaz? They've got to be our leaders at this point, given the fact that they took out Flake's Power's team and Ninja's team, and I think they got every single elimination with it too. So a max of 6. This is another big fight. We are not used to seeing this in Ninja battles whatsoever. Commandment Centered and Edgy coming off of Misty Metals against Coop Chap.
This is so heated right now. Yeah, like you said, this is not the pace of Ninja battles, but this is what happens when you put all these power teams in the lobby together. They're gonna pop off. And I mean, it's kind of unorthodox the way the season's lined up. Like we said before, the fact that teams have been swapped up, right? People are gonna land in different areas, especially when you consider the fact that it's IGL. So some are just makeshift squads, not full teams, not full competitive trios. Here's a perspective, Joe. A bit of a stalemate, I guess, as Coop doesn't necessarily poise up for the battle. He's just going for the loot instead. They're just eyeing one another.
You talk about misfit teams, you know, squads made up of random individuals. These two right here that are facing up against each other, they're jockeying for position, but they also know that both sides are certainly full-fledged trios, given that they do the research. But you can also see another full-fledged trio built by Solo Mid is engaging 2 Senta, doesn't block his back, and we get a harpoon down on Commandment. This is really rough to start things off, but he did crack back at Creo.
He gets pulled right off. That's 75, so all shield gone now. He's based up here. Luckily for the counter tags, though, on the turn and burn. Otherwise, this would have been a done and dusted battle there as Commandment was pulled all the way into the trio here. Edgy, though, does have that high ground perch here. Like I said before, Coop and Chap, they weren't necessarily, you know, poising up to take the battle. So going back to farm, they're pretty much getting away for free here now with the tags that they earned.
So scary. 3 of the better teams here, all right next to each other. I don't expect this fight to go anywhere, but we have seen Creo, Bucky, and Kanata, built by Solo Mid, push Edgy, Commandment, and Scented so many times over the last 2 Ninja battles and get involved with them. To some degree, also almost ruining their chances. Now I think that because of the way that they based up next to each other, even though they did trade tags a little bit, Chap, Coop, and Furious will end up being able to back out or take a better position to take advantage of this position. They're all right now waiting for the next zone and also waiting to see what Surge is going to say. Is this going to be a difficult lobby in terms of Surge, or is it going to be one that you can squeeze by with just a couple of tags from range?
Gonna be a tough one to decide this early in the game, but 77 players are up. You can see 5 teams there have been eliminated out of the competition, so skirmish just going down across the Fortnite world here. No drop spot seems safe just by judging how teams are rolling up on one another already. Acorn, though, down in this divot here by himself, Jack up above. Wonder if he's gonna try and pull the vehicle up this ramp. Might be, maybe not. Okay. They do have that short side for the rotate here as we take a look at the world map now.
Yeah, it looks like Coop, Chap, and Furious ended up going up and out. There's a team rifting over Commandment, Centered, and Edgy, and Bucky, Creo, and Kanata. It looks like they might land on top of them. You got to be careful there. Here's the EU squad, new additions to Ninja Battle: Thomas, HD, Flick, and Anas. They're going to get some center zone position, potentially on some high ground as well. But I also see both the peaks, the best peaks in the central zone position, already be occupied.
Definitely, these mountaintops become very, very crucial In the team-based game modes, you can see that once you get those lines of sights, there's 3 eyeballs poking out different angles. No one's safe for free rotates, but Thomas looks like he's gonna get himself the snipe off. Okay, does attempt to go for it. Most notable with the sniper in hand. Recently signed to Team Gamma. Remember, guys, this is a team tuned in from the EU region, so they're going against the grain here.
And 100% what I expected to see on that other hill is Bizzle. So good at finding that center mountain position so very fast. Other spots on the map, not necessarily as much, but Bizzle specifically thinks about how to get there. Same thing with Booga, Jamper, and Avery, though. A different spot for them this season. Not necessarily put them there. Here's Kaz polarized and Kearney directly on top of Team Xset, who we know are big threats to take a competition just like this. And on to the left of them, we see Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. Both of these teams right here, Xset and the Godfathers on the left. We're the teams in the first and second place last Ninja Battles on Saturday.
Not only that, 2 very opposite styles to play. Xset comfortable in that low ground, in that pocket. And this is where they're going to put themselves right underneath another team where they operate so efficiently, so well. Take a look. Here's the perspective. No aggression coming out of Kaz and Polarized here to poise up on them and take some poke shots.
I mean, they've already gotten, what, 6 possible elims, so I think they'll probably be chilling. Whereas other teams like Xset don't necessarily know where they stand, given all they can do is try to find tags at range. Here's a mix of Team 1% and overtime now. Getting pushed by Jack Acorn and Slacks. Oh no, by yourself. You know you're there solo. You know they're gonna push you. What can you do here? It's gotta be wonderful shots, and it's not going to be. Oh, meanwhile, a big elim in the feed. Nosh just took out Click's former teammates. Now, enemies. And Nosh gets the first of Clicks in this game.
The crazy part, we saw that engagement happen last week as well, as they were somewhat near one another in the same draw spots. Here's Nate Hill, Funk, and Sticks perspective now. They're in the southern portion of the zone, trying to make do with the situation. Sticks, no shields on the inventory there. Pretty much a dangerous situation for him to be in right now, coming into this mid game. This is where the rotates come out. This is where you start getting picked off by the players who pulled zone, who have those mountains, who rotate a little late. So no shields this late means that you had quite a bad rotate coming into the storm. And that's a scary position because you're not going to find a lot of loot on your way from here, point A to point B now, the new zone.
Makes a lot of sense. Bizzle did pick up Clicks, but Illist is now down. Zuni's end pen, an aspect to trying to push through. Right up on the mountain too. They don't get Illist. Yes, they do. He's up. He's up. And they back away. Still some metal to hold on, but this will definitely ruin their chances going forward, or at least lower them significantly.
It's going to work out, though. They do have a lot of time to play with on the zone here as everyone else is making a rotate. Distractions happen, though, as they focus up on another team in the ravine down below. Because of that, the counterfire comes in. They're not going to find any tags.
It's time to go.
This could be their opportunity. Yes, exactly. To rotate on out.
Both teams back up. Both teams recognize the time is now. Nobody's necessarily paying attention to these top spots. And Wavy Jacob, unfortunately, is being pressured by Surge, Emad, his teammate, and I believe he's already down from Surge, so Eclipse A Crimson class might have clashed with them to cause this from Wavy Jacob.
So on the feed there, Acorn finds the Elim. Jack's going to find keys here, smacked onto, I believe that was Creo for a second there as well. So remember, these are teams that were rotating late on that back portion of the zone, coming right from underneath the Lazy Lake. So it looks like the clash came up on the back of the storm line. It was a fight that they could not avoid on their way to this new zone. Last, though, trying to make best of it. Trailing behind on his teammate. Just judging by the map, you see all those crosshairs looking in at that edge zone.
I think these guys are never going to get away from each other. I don't know how we continuously see this fight, given the fact that they drop so distinctly different. Built by Solamid over at Slurpy Swamps and Commandment Scented and Edgy over at Misty Meadows. Seems far away, but apparently not.
Well,
Still have to make the rotation. It's going to be a bouncer, Shockwave. They're fine. but they're gonna go right over top of these guys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's kind of incredible that they actually got Bucky up because he was knocked. I saw it in the feed there, so
Yep.
did get the save off on Bucky somehow, some way. And even then, they respect one another's positioning here, just to back up in full.
This will be good for pretty much all of them. Specifically, Furious, Chap, and Coop always love to perch up on these ridges, whether they're into the center of the zone or not, because they can use the bouncer shockwaves so efficiently to get in. Ooh, edgy, nice. The wall at it there. They're going to get some tags still on Built by Solo Mid, so them following this entire time hasn't quite worked out, but both sides probably starting to run low on shields. I talked about the chances of Bizzle and crew because they were fighting its aspect in them for so long. Every time you get a knocked player, every time you're spending those precious resources, you're lowering your chances in the end game without finding something significant to bring you back into it, like a full squad wipe.
And we all know that getting that full squad wipe is no easy feat. Even a two-man team can change the odds so quickly. Lucky and Creo, Kanata here looking to do that. Chat falls down. Lucky he's going to catch himself here. This is a dangerous situation. He's slipping through the builds. So you know they're not going to want to give this up. And there it is. He gets even closer now. I believe they own those walls too. He could have opened it up.
They didn't get the res either on Furious. That's what they're trying to do right now, is try to get it down. But no, they did pick it up. It's a little delayed there on the spectator client regardless. They've wasted a lot of their ammo. That's another resource you got to be careful with. But Bucky does find Chap down below. He does escape though, but just barely, and he's also knocked. So they have to now get back to Chap after picking up Furious. It's just shambles after shambles for Coop, Chap, and Furious right now. And Furious is also down. Built by Solo Mid going for their first trio wipe. And it might be right here, right now, as fourth zone starts to move.
You know they had to commit. Once Kanata and Bucky put in those shockwaves into the battle, that was it. That was the signal to say, hey, we have to finish this. We have to get something from this battle. Now, the shockwaves, huge split. My gosh, it just got thrown all across the map here. You have to figure out how to get back to one another. Yeah, it's going to cost a couple material. Not too bad, though. He's going to find Kanata up on height, and Bucky is the one who secured the two elims. So one of the three gets away from Chap's trio. And they are just on the congestion here, Balla. Just take a look at the wide shot. The players are stacking on top of one another now.
And Stretch and Saf are definitely getting involved in a big way on the people who just made their way in. They know that it was a sketchy fight all the way from the top of that mountain down, rotating next to so many aggressive players. Edgy Commandment and Scented, though, they're not done. They want what Built by Solo Mid just did on Chap and Furious, and it's a nice shot on the Skittles. I don't know how he was there. Seemed like he was lost.
Not something you think of Skittles, who did also take a weak victor just previously, but now we're looking at Edgy Commandment and Scented in an even tougher situation. All those frags, still not too much material. They've cost or used so much just to get to the safety zone here, and they're sitting inside of enemy builds, so even then they're not completely safe right now. Time to heal up and get a big rotate going. The half in, half out is going to pull very, very far. A small portion of the zone is going to get it. And a Storm Surge is getting to work right now. My gosh, Nick 830 is going to find High Sky in the feed. 2XE trades out replays, and it's going back and forth right now.
Anash should be able to out-heal, but Reverse 2K on the other side is pressuring against the people that we saw fight so hard at the beginning. Kearney, Kaz, and Polarized. I think they might be fully down now. This team is in zone. And we still hear Surge going off somewhere, somehow. 3 people still need to go down. Fifth zone is now moving. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have taken height in the meantime. Unknown, Smacked, and Casker end up picking a layer right below them.
For the second time, you saw Clicks right there drop or fall to Nosh. So Nosh on top here gets it all to come full circle once again. This time he concludes on the Elim, unfortunately. As you can see, Storm Surge and everything else putting in work into the lobby. That's why you see all those knocks popping up in the feed right now as players are trying to rotate here. Calc finally falls. So Zexar was already out the lobby. Now Calc is down. That could be the full trio wipe for them. I'm not sure if Mac would still in this run right here. On high ground, though, Stretch, Zayt, and Saf do still hone it. And they have a little bit of space between the two as well. So comfortable hold on height.
Yeah, one shockwave and they're starting to look up as best they can. Regardless, looks like they definitely have a comfortable hold. They're split too, something that we should note. Gives them more space, more coverage to catch this next zone, and I believe they just did. Zayt already in that direction. Meanwhile, Mega, Riversun, and Dubs no, Dubs is down. So that team working as a duo, still possible. Xset fully up, and I don't believe they've engaged at all. I see Vivid's team in the backside there too, DeRoller, Vivid, and Colazo down on low ground as well.
Just this wide shot here gives you a nice idea of what's going on. Everyone's kind of poised up right now, trying to get some new zone. From Stretch's perspective, you can see the bouncers coming out. People just trying to cross and play that outer edge of the zone. But even doing that, you're not safe because there's too many players alive. There's no such thing as a free layer right now. And with the aggression that's coming out from high ground, that's what you want to see from high, is pressure down. No one is safe here, and that's what the Doom's mystical bomb can do for you. And Zay is just using it so beautifully right now. Mikey's gonna get tagged up and taken out. That's gonna be another frag for the high ground. Finally, their first one now concluding in 2 eliminations, make it that. And they're rotating across.
This is already starting to look like a repeat of last Saturday, where we saw Zayt, Stretch, and Saf dominate every time they made it to a position like this on height with Doom's mythic items. Doing so well, and their strat works out brilliantly. The gauntlets used to reinforce height at a very simple angle. Meanwhile, on mid-ground, Jack Acorn and Slacks have started fragging a little bit. They're already up to 8 eliminations, and look at the materials. Look at that shield. They have so much still available. Slacks is starting to build a path next to him. He needs to get back up, and I think he just did just one more layer, and it's going up the hill. So for good reason, Slacks is building a full-on double-layered tarp vertically.
I just saw Colazo pick up Xset's Shark and AV, so I don't know if Knight's by himself, but he also just found Miro in the feed there as well. So the trades are happening here. It looks like Xset, the kings of the low ground, might have been all wiped up. Yes, Acorn's gonna find him too on the rotate there up the mountain. And just like that, the Xset is out of the lobby before the big placements points, before the big top 10. Top 10 trickles over now as Zunis and Booga fall. So one of those teams are completely wiped out of the game now. Commandment Sense and Edgy somehow miraculously pulled together. Look at this, just banding what materials that they can here. And they still are finding frags too. 3 eliminations, not too bad. The impact is gonna keep them in the game.
Not at all. Down to below. We also have to start getting ready for this final moment because we're already in the 8th zone. Nice play on the left side. Yes, they get Epic Whale scented on his prior teammate. Epic Whale now down in Ninja Battles. Jack will pressure slightly up, but there's really nobody who's done anything to damage the structure and position that Saf and Stretch have had over the lobby. But now it's going over old builds, old fully built metal, and everything as it comes back down this hill. The question now, though, where does this next zone go? We'll find out in 10 seconds.
And the big problem is high ground doesn't have ammunition because it's been going back and forth. They actually haven't been able to pick anything up because of the elevation change. This is going to force them to come down. We've seen Zayt, Stretch, and Saf in this position before and lose it from height. If they need this frag right here onto Casker, yes, Zayt's going to jump on in, trying to get a little cheeky with it, trying to get close. Remember, these burning builds here do pretty much signal to him that these are clear builds. They can stand on this. Shock crash pads coming in as well. They're just trying to flush out anyone that they can, and the materials are now dwindling down.
Eclipse took out one. Edgy now down. By the way, Clicks is still up somehow, and I believe I see Bizzle up too. Yes, that trio who we thought was out, now back into it. Eclipse picks up as well. Another Saf trying to get in zone, maybe to pressure a little bit, but we are in this 9th zone with 5 teams left. Slacks, the last member of his, he's getting pressured by 2 and has to go full low. Vivid and Colazo are here, and Vivid will put him straight down. Top 4 now, and we have 40 seconds left. Commandment way on the zone. Can he get the siphon? Oh, so close. Yes, he gets it. Now pressuring up on the Zayt and Staff. They're not going to be able to find that. He goes down, Scented, left alone, I believe, just against Zayt and Saf up above. Where is this gonna go? Does he have some siphon here? Yes, maybe. No, he picked the wrong body potentially. Now Stretch and Zayt will find Clicks. He's going down to maybe find some floppers trying to run away from the onslaughts that Zayt, Stretch, and Saf have provided. They take the first game after a momentous day on Saturday where they took the entire tournament because they made it off spawn 3 times here in game number 1, proving that they're here to play.
What an incredible game one. The action from the beginning to the end, it never dropped a beat. That was straight up a pop-off fest all the way through. One of which you'd expect a little bit more passive play out of NA East. Not today, not this time around, not for Ninja Battles.
No, I mean, we saw Bucky, Creo, and Kanata play so aggressively. Even Scented, Edgy, and Commandment were playing aggressively onto Chap throughout that game. A lot of off-spawn fights that will possibly change as the next game gets started. But wow. Wow, we didn't even see the Doom's Domain fight at all. I'm wondering what happened entirely. Was Mr. Savage, Lecce, and Benji still there or in that game at all? Regardless, let's take a look at some of the highlights, the moments from this game.
Definitely here. We obviously are going to start off with the Ninja, the man himself. Those of you guys wondering, tuning in from his Twitch channel, of course, he is playing today. He was one of the first to fall here. Salty Springs was contested by 3 teams. Unfortunately, that was going to be the backfire there for them. Then we swing over to the retail row where Unknown Army wrapped up Jared, Tilt, and I believe Tax here.
Tax
Did a pretty good job. He was trying to stay alive, but it just wasn't enough.
And this was where Reverse 2K picked up a couple. Kearney was the recipient of that. We didn't necessarily see all of these frags on the broadcast itself. This is kind of some replays that we may have missed. Mega there for sure was one of them. But the big story is Zayt, Saf, and Stretch on height. We saw a brief glimpse there of them. The only couple of people that actually pressured them at all was people who were randomly shockwaving by themselves. I believe Jack was one of those towards the end of this, and it was Chaos trying to get up this ramp.
What a shot right there from Acorn. That one was not on the stream. That's where Knight fell, so that's how he gets wrapped up there. And you know what it was? I saw on the feed the C9 Nosh takes out Clicks, but that must have been the first knock. Now sometimes it replays itself.
Yes.
So all that time I thought Clicks was out of the game. Turns out he was still alive and making big work here. A second place is huge.
Yeah, getting all the way to second place while Illust, oh, he did actually survive in towards this end game too. So Bizzle, Illust, and Clicks as a full trio, all of a sudden, we start to see them making it towards the end. This is very exciting if you're fans of Clicks and Bizzle entirely. That was the first trio that I think a lot of people at the beginning of season 3, when we were basically just forming the ideas of who was going to be a contender for the trio season, that was Clicks and Bizzle. The way that they were playing on Pleasant Park was definitely one that turned a lot of heads.
Yeah, kind of interesting in seeing them get back together, right? And start playing again. So it's going to be cool. See if the synergy's still there and they can rekindle that relationship.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a quick break because we do have to get the next lobby ready. So game number 2 is going to be right after this. Definitely a lot in that game that just happened was very much important to pretty much digest. I think we saw so many different teams kind of rise up and really perform well. Monster, you said it. There was so many pop-offs in that game. Now, I want to basically talk about all of them. Slacks, Acorn, and Jack seem to be in that end game with so many elims. I think they got up to over 10 towards the end. So what does that mean for them going forward, and can they actually keep that up?
If I'm not mistaken, I think they had 13. I was counting when you jump from a perspective. 8 elims was the highest on one of the 3 there. Ridiculous. We already know that finding those frags, they don't come very often, but when they do, they propel you up and they give you a lot of cushion. Let's take a look how it's going to play out. And speaking about the cushion, yes, look, first place with 20 points now. A lot higher as far as the pacing goes. We haven't seen teams start off or at least been able to maintain that level of high point threshold.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And Zayt, Stretch, and Sav, 16 points, only 6 elims, but that win is definitely something that I think will probably show a level of consistency overall that will be very, very good to keep up. Meanwhile, Unknown Army, Casker, and Smack put themselves at 13 with a lot of elims, and that's definitely what you expect from that trio.
And I guess also the difference is that since there's 30 players, of course, there's going to be more frags. Now it all makes sense to me that people are going to be able to earn points this way. And just the same way Reverse 2K, Day, and Mero get 5 for the elims, none for the placement. You saw those mid-game cheeky ones just sending in those AR shots in those box fights and finding and stealing away some frags.
Yeah, exactly. So game 1 results still here coming through. We'll get to see basically so many different teams who either did not make it off of spawn, didn't make it or play in this game. I believe Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce might be one of those teams, given I did not see 3 elims for Zayt, Saf, and Stretch going into the end game, which also kind of indicates to us how that all happens. So basically now we get to see Zayt, Stretch, and Saf, even with the win, are not in the lead right now, but in the future, things might get really difficult for them, maybe like Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is going to be a big mix-up, but it's always going to be that when you're playing for these number 1 type drop spots. When you play for first place, you have to battle like you are the first place champs. And I mean, consistency shows that they can do it, and they can come back even with a point gap. I mean, but the high ground hold, the mystical bomb coming in, you saw how destructive that was. Just clearing out layers to them was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why they're winning games like this. And to put even more perspective on it, this is actually their 3rd win in a row in Ninja Battles. They won the last 2 games of week number 5 of the Saturday Ninja Battles. So coming in here, if they continue that, they're now on a 3-game win streak. 4 maybe potentially in the books. That would certainly be a crazy record. I think 3 already is more than a record, because I think we've only seen mostly back-to-backs from a number of different teams. Today it might be different, though, because we have so many more teams, so many more possibilities to make these back-to-backs potentially not happen.
Yeah, definitely. They should not be happening with how many teams are out there, how many more factors are at play, especially with the whole consideration of the 50% reduction in the chest spawns, right? So that means all drop spots are going to be that much more scarier, right? When it comes down to actually trying to put together something for your whole team with other teams nearby. Shambles routes are not going to be as effective as they once were in the Ninja Battles setting. So yeah, this is like old-fashioned Fortnite. 5 games, not your typical 6 or more. So definitely a lot more restrictive. We shouldn't see any back-to-backs unless they are clear dominant and just take it away.
We've seen it back-to-back in pretty much every single Ninja Battle, so I think we'll see it again. Trios mode definitely tends to that more than anything else. Regardless, we're moments away from getting into game number 2, so bear with us as we get that lobby started. I definitely want to know now if there is going to be a contest at Doom's Domain, and I also want to know what the adjustments are for some of these teams that fall off spawn. Are they going to go against one of the top or higher tier teams such as Booga, Jamper, and Avery over at Stark Industries Uncontested, such as Misty Meadows? Or are they going to stick with the tried and true, Salty Springs POIs that it feels like always, for some reason, has teams landing on it?
Yeah, that's one of those drops that you just kind of pick up and go, and you know it, right? It's been there since season 1, so everyone feels so comfortable to play flex off of it. But game number 2 is on the way. The battle bus is here. It's setting out now, and let's see if anyone is going to change. Let's see if anyone did their homework, if they were taken out early, because now's your time to switch up the strategy and get something new going.
Retail Row uncontested after being contested by 2 teams, one of those being Unknown, who made it so deep into that end game. They're sitting in 3rd place right now. Stark Industries still fine, and they're up in the top left. Doom's Domain is not fine. 2 teams 2 different sets of arrows, potentially 3. I see 2 green arrows, but not exactly sure how that's going to unfold. Definitely got my eyes on that big time. Look at this split for Ronaldo, Paper, and Ninja. I don't even know where the other 2 players are on Ninja's screen.
Yeah, this is a wild split right here, but hey, they're making it work right now. Someone had a game plan for sure,
no.
because hopefully it's going to be enough loot. Here's D-Roller, Colosso, and Vivid. You can see they have the Stark Islands just north there, the cabin houses. There's so much loot here. This is definitely a lot of loot, especially on the coastal area. So I really like this spot for a drop. And oh my gosh, we asked for Doom's Domain. Take a look at this.
Okay, so not only is Benji Savage and Letchi here, but also the West boys, Epic Whale, Rex, and Arkham. They do land here on West, and now as a full trio, Arkham has the confidence to take it. We are going to see the fight that we saw on Saturday. As Stretch and Saf quickly unfold. I believe Benji very low on HP. He falls back to Mr. Savage, but Letchi is left by himself, and he'll retreat towards the other side of this map. But where is Dr. Doom? Is it down inside that cave? Do Zayt, Stretch, and Saf have the vault to themselves already? And also the mythic items.
How often do you see 3 regions best all in the same drop spot in one server setting? Not very often, probably the first.
The only time we would ever see this is a World Cup trios. This is the only time we would ever see this, but apparently no. Ninja delivers. Ninja Battles delivers. But the Vault delivers, and Dr. Doom is delivered to Zayt, Stretch, and Saf free.
Which I don't even know how they got this. I could have sworn I seen the West boys up at the castle drop the Dr. Doom, but
the
maybe
Dr.
not.
Doom, the spawn in the cave is possible, so they recognized that quick and pushed into the cave. His one opportunity to spawn on that little scaffolding, sometimes it works out that it just goes straight to them. In past weeks, Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have not engaged and not gotten Dr. Doom very fast. Wait a second. Ninja and crew are once again fighting the same team, but not in the same place. The Brazilian guys against Paper, Ronaldo, and Ninja right now. They've already got 2 down, just chasing down the last player, Kaduzin. Definitely a Brazilian competitive Fortnite player who has some skills. Paired up with Flake's power and his teammate. They're going to let him escape.
Not even worth hunting him down at this point. They got so far, though. Like, this was such a split. Like, I'm still very confused how it all played out, and the chances of them getting on somewhat of the same shambles route, right? Like, what are the odds you go to the lake
Exactly.
and they're kind of playing that drop spot? So it all kind of just works like that in a weird way.
Great minds think alike, maybe. I mean, they opened up the stream, they looked at what the bus was looking like, and they were like, okay, here's some space that's available, and they both go for it. That means that Polarized Kaz and Kearney will have Salty Springs for themselves.
Salty Springs is already not quite set up to be like a big place for loot, so I'm interested to see how they're going to perform overall, even with the drop spot being free this time around. First 2K looking to chop this whole thing out. They're working on it. Distractions off in the distance, though.
Does force them down, but not for too long as they just reconnect. This is the 1% boys mixed with overtime. Orange. Reverse 2K, Miro, and Day, though. A full trio competitively. Have done so well in prior Ninja battles. But looking kind of weak, I guess, for Reverse 2K. This combat is not what it used to be in Season 10.
He's making it work, though. He hit 3 shots in quick succession here. Now it's up to Kiwis. He's in a box here. We're going to get on in, though. Reverse 2K still putting that pressure on. He's got the backup. Yeah, Day's going to go ahead and wrap that up from the other side. The angles just being better from Reverse 2K. Day and Miro here. And Miro, known to be aggressive, good in these kind of PvP style fights, especially when it's multiple against multiples. Let's see how Miro's going to be able to play this one out. Yes, he gets in cone control too. That's what I'm talking about right there. No fear when it comes down to walking forwards.
They clean up that fight very quickly. A third party's joining the fray, but a sniper peek over the top should make it so that these guys stop firing at them, and yes, they will. Benji, Savage, and Letchi have pushed all the way down towards that scan chest in between Salty Springs and Sweaty Sands, and they're starting to be on the hunt against Kaz and Polarized, who came out as Salty to try to get some extra loot. But this means that Zayt, Saf, and Stretch potentially in a fight still against Arkham Rex and Epic Whale, or they're already getting towards good position in the zone.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're seeing a new leaf turned, right, from Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. They kind of have been doing their run-of-the-mill of the aggressive play, but maybe now just playing a little smarter, right? Really putting the simulation to the test now that they have the full trios and what could be a major contested drop spot for a grand finals. Very, very good to see. Just different kind of styles coming out, but what a fight right here. Where did Kanata, Creo, and Bucky come up from? Slurpee and then just jump into the mix right here for a fight.
Dude,
for tags.
I swear they just find the quickest ways to get on top of people. Meanwhile, Reverse 2K Day and Mira, they will back out with a shockwave. Creo and Crew are going to try to chase them down for good reason. They're low materials. 4 builds on Day, 3 on Reverse 2K. Oh, that's scary if I'm running away from built by solo mid. Savage, Benji, and Letchi. They're going to engage slightly, but again, they're off ping. No shields on both of the other players, but they do have a trick up their sleeve, the gas cans.
He picks up 2 of them as well. That's the full ace in the hole right there. If you can get right on top of the opponents and have them boxed up. Kaz and Polarized, though. Polarized has that energy Stark rifle, so that's kind of massive, especially with the high ground hold there. Big damage can come down. Looks like now, yeah, Benji's going to get tagged maybe once or twice there and forced to mini up. Crucial. Eats into the minis and heals that they don't really have. She's now down to nothing. Now, though, take a look. Savage on the run here. Polarized trying to get into the box, and he's going to slip in twice. And Mr. Savage gets backup, though. His backup is here. It's Benji Fishy. It's Leshy. They come in nice and close. And the punishment onto Kaz as well. Can Leshy get the exchange here? He needs to go for the trade. No, it doesn't look like he's going to be successful as Polarized comes in as well to back him up. And now it's up to Benji to clutch up by himself.
1 versus 2. Kearney already down. Oh, the gas can. Oh, the play. Benji has blown Kaz up. And now potentially can get the siphon too. Might start to burn though. It's all burning around him. Thankfully, he's in full metal. He's going to be able to hopefully take out Mr. Savage and get him to a safe spot. Yes, he will. But same thing for Polarized is he's going to be able to pick up Kaz. So they trade. Mr. Savage a little bit quicker than Benji. Do they have shield on that side, though, is the big question. There he is. He's up. 2 more seconds for Polarized. The pressure coming in. He gives it up, but he's up too. Oh, no. This is so close. By margins of just seconds, Benji has prevented the revive. And Benji and Savage are now pressuring from both sides. They have turned the face. Benji has gotten from a 1 versus 2 scenario, now with the advantage.
Absolutely crazy for Benji to actually do that and have the guts to stick the revive instead of going for the instant thirst. It was the big brain play there that buys him the time to stay in the game here. Polarized, though, still putting up a pretty great fight, all things considering, but by himself now, there's not much he can do here as Benji's trying to get away. Big white tags here. This is so sketch now.
Oh, genius play. Mr. Savage and Benji, the best escape. Clicks, Bizzle, and Crew are still chasing down, though, and I think, yes, they took out Mr. Savage, so they know the situation, but a third party they expected, a third party did come. Benji has another opportunity to escape, definitely has that reboot card, but where can he get it? Clicks is already on top of him. He's hiding. He's quiet. They have to chase down the other side, which is Polarized.
There's just not many places to hide. You kind of know it at this point right here. He must be in the box. He must be behind it. There it is. He faults in, puts his guns down, takes the L there. But still, one of the biggest plays from Benji today to clutch up and still make best of that bad situation.
But I thought that it was going to be Benji to escape from that because they were disengaging because they knew what third party was coming. They knew that timing for the aggressive play from the people on the west side of the map was right ahead of them, potentially even from Doom's Domain, even from players all the way down to Slurpy Swamps. They hear this fight taking place for so long, you know that there's going to be a third party rolling up. So the disengage, I thought, was smart. Instead, Bizzle, Illis, and Clicks go over top of Polarized and ignore them entirely for 2 elims compared to 1, so I respect it.
Does work out. Zuni's and Pennon aspect here are the ones that are going to sweep in from the authority side, though. Hearing all the commotion, seeing all the builds in the distance here. Bizzle and Clicks trying to make a rotate on out. Bucky, Creo, and Kanata are the team based up to the left, though. They did just swing in from that Weeping Woods section. Here's their perspective.
So many teams now moving in towards the center of this zone. Saf, Stretch, and Zayd have a nice split over a little bit farther west. That is massive. Massive. For them, with all this congestion, they're going to be able to get a lot of space given to them, and also potentially even further. Stretch getting a little bit risky though on the outside of this, looking for extra tags. I hope that they have it. They should, given what they had engaged on Benji earlier in this.
There you see that flaming mystical bomb start to cause a little bit of havoc here as the builds get lit up. Acorn looking to bring down Tilt here. Tilt's gonna land on a build. Does manage to stay in the game, but not for long. Someone's actually going to snatch that one up, and I'm not sure if it's Acorn's team. No, it's a Nos from the distance, the other EU boys. A Nos, Thomas, and Flick, who were on the rotate. From the last game, we saw them in this same exact area, playing the rotate similar, coming in from that southern portion. And I believe they're landing at the Cape Cod way south down in the bottom of the map.
The war zone north of in Salty Spring is extended, and all these top teams now positioned right next to each other. Shades of game number 1, where we saw the exact same thing unfolding, but with different players. Speaking of those players, Commandment and Edgy just picked up Punisher in replays, and Nick A30. A clean, quick wipe. And now they're positioned with 3 elims, but where on the map are they? I'm going to guess farther south. Or maybe they hit a little dead side rotate. Look at Sweaty Sands, completely empty right now. I'm just curious where this zone is going to pull. Moments away from closing, here it is. And right on top of some of the best teams in this lobby right now.
Yeah, and the most action-packed section of the map so far. This game too here. The feed is continuing to light up there as I think Flick took out Commandment. So that must be south around here. It must be going down in this area. Where are they? There's a Nos Flick number still alive. Okay, so Edgy somehow ends up by himself. Scented and Commandment get taken out.
This is rough. How can he even escape out of Ant-Man's little hill right here? Edgy has a solo. He does have the bouncer shockwaves. He might get up and then use those to gain himself some space that Flick and Austin crew can't do as quickly. And third zone is not too far, but what he doesn't want to do and end up right next to where they will eventually base up. He wants to get himself quite a lot of distance. And then the other thing too is make sure that nobody else spots him out as a solo that he is.
They're not even worried about him either. They're just using all that excess material. That fight ended so quickly. I'm assuming it must have been opened up with a big shot from either a sniper or some kind of 3-2-1, because for them to get melted this quickly and then not want to pursue Edgy because Edgy's still resourced up, they're just going to use all the excess and get to the zone for free.
Back in the Salty Springs, Warline, Ninja, Paper, and Ronaldo are back to where they dropped initially in this Ninja Battles, but in a much better position. Fully built metal. And in zone, most importantly, Funk Bomb, Nate Hill, and Sticks are right next to them. Dubs, Mega, and Riversun right underneath them. That building, which is usually the most prized for all its brick, completely melted at this point. Difficult to get any value at that.
All thanks to the gas canisters. You can see what that flame mechanic does to the game. It really does deteriorate the builds, changes the canvas, the lay of the land just a little bit here. Blake Keys and Cecir on a big rotate right now, trying to get around the EU boys. Made a huge tarp on in. They are going to get behind that little mountain here, so gonna play that blocked angle. Thomas is going to step out though, out of the box and into the line of fire. Great shots.
Blake Keys and C spent so much trying to block from them on one side, but Anas just says, nah, hold on. Let me just peek out the right where you did not block in any case. Both teams now in. Both teams now waiting for what's to come. X set down below. Again, all three members together. Yet they fell outside of the top 12, outside of any placement thresholds in the prior game. This time, though, 3 limbs to start things off. We already saw those unfold south on the map in their warpath of themselves.
Look at the way the zone pops. It pops north again. So all these southern teams, all that congestion, forced to move up. When we had that wide shot of the map, I mean, you saw how dead the northern portion was. The Pleasant Park side, the sweaty sand side. There were not a lot of teams there. The action was all outside of Salty. And now for these teams to have to move again, migrate together once again, you know the action is going to unfold. Just take a look here. It's an open playing field. A few of the lobby that is based up on the other side can lay down the fire. It's looking like that good old 50-50 trailer right here.
The possibilities here, though, for me, what I'm seeing is Shaft and Stretch already taking a 5th zone position, potentially, if they do end up getting it up on the north side right here. That will be the biggest threat for everybody. Rex Arkham and Epic Whale, though. Oh, getting beamed from the back. Oh, my goodness. Exposing himself for a little too much, thinking that there was nobody, like you said, up further north, and man, does he pay for that.
It's crazy. That was from an energy rifle. You can just tell by how slow the tags came in, but how much damage they took, or how much damage it did. All of his health being melted away, nearly getting 2-tapped out of the lobby right there. He's going to manage to stay alive here. Emad has and Wavy. Emad's seen his fair share of success here on the Ninja Battle stage. What can he do today with his makeshift squad? One of which is from the West. Wavy Jacob here from Enterprise Gaming. Go by Gaming's has as well. Quite an interesting team built up.
Matt did win week 2 of Ninja Battles with Bizzle in commandment. Such a difference in teammates now, though. You're right. Curious how this ended up even coming to pass, but in any case, surprised to see Arab and Till make it through. I'm wondering who their third is, regardless. Arab's such a strong IGL, such a strong positional player. These are his strengths now into the end game. Hopefully commanding a strong Till in a good form. 5th zone revealed. We're already marking it. It's going across Salty Springs, at least based on what I just saw out of these players here, and shockwaves across. So Zayt, Saf, and Stretch will have to move. It will favor towards Riverson, Dubs, and Mega, and also Ninja's team.
I was going to say, Zayt, Saf, and Stretch did give up that high ground as well, so they probably found the frag in there. We'll see when they tune in from their perspective. Here's a big fight going down, though. An important one for Dubs and Mega, as they need this loot here. They need to pick this up. They're going to find Vivid in the mix here. You can just tell that everyone wants a piece of the loot, but I think they managed to get up the bulk of it, at least for that one frag that was down there. Shockwaves busting out from the builds below. And Schmack was the one who found Vivid there. Now, though, you can hear the footsteps, so they know these guys are definitely down below. The harpoon being used to break the bills there. For a brief moment, he almost had shots lined up, but he's not going to connect at all. Stretch makes it into the new zone. Zayt does as well. Here they are. No frags, so they did not find what I thought was potential Elim down below. They're still alive and very, very much situated loot-wise.
Yeah, but no shields in Zayt's inventory. Hopefully we've got something on Saf and Stretch. And also not the 5th zone position that they thrive from. Surge is going off on a lot of different teams. Zuni's an Aspect being one of them. I think Bizzle and Clicks recognize that and are trying to chase. Yes, both of those players now in a rough spot. Aspect's bouncing all around the zone. And I believe Emad just... Oh! Zayt, Chef, and Saf just went for it. And I think somebody's up there. Yes, Saf! Now Zayt just has to get back. This is important. If they end up getting cracked through the air, it might be difficult for them, but no, they hold on, and everybody lets Zayt get right back up, even the players who lost it. Emad was looking straight at him. No! They're still in the box, though, and Zayt is down. The mystical bomb, such a crucial key to their success. And now Stretch and Saf have to survive without their IGL and without their bomb down below, pressuring all the second height teams away from them.
That's not something you see very often. The failed shockwave launcher right there. And like you said, that mystical bomb is going to trade hands here in the hands of Wavy, Emad, and Haas now. As you know, they picked it up. They held that turtle defensive stance for quite some time to hover over the body, to pick up all the loot and secure it. Stretch, though, is using the other gauntlets to put some pressure down. Remember, this is unlimited pressure, so he can continue to rain down shots. Jumping around like this to be a tough target. Look at Saf's distance way off, and look, Stretch can close that gap with the gauntlets, with the boosts in tow.
Dubs is starting to crash pad over Mega. Not with him quite. Saf is starting to fight with Haz for height. And he will end up reconnecting with them, but Saf now left on his lonesome against Haz. And I think he did hold on, yes, for now. But for how long? Because no, Haz goes right back up. He's trying to break it out, but entire other players come through as well. And now Wavy Jacob is taken out. Stretch, Saf now left alone. Emad, Wavy Jacob, they've got it. And Saf is down too. Our second place team, the first win of the day, are now out of the game.
That was actually beautiful from Emad to put pressure down below to assist Wavy, who's going for high ground right now. This could be Wavy and Emad's game if Wavy can secure height against Haz. That's going to be a tough fight, though. We don't have the wide shot to see how it's going down, but you have to assume someone is up there battling for it. Ninja still alive right now as well, trying to make do, but no, he gets shockwaved out into the zone. Tries to look for the frag. Will he find one siphon to stay alive? No, it's not going to be enough. He's going to go down, but Paper still up, and as I say that, he gets converted on as well. Taken out.
Dubs and Mega still up, even though they were so split, so shambles, making their way into the 6th zone. Now in 7th, they're up and well. I think Ronaldo still might be up, even though Paper just went down. So well played from them, but still no placement threshold yet. Unknown still frogging. That was the team in 3rd place. Wondering now if Slacks, Acorn, and Jack are up. Yes, Slacks just got 2. So they might be starting to run away with it. All 3 are up against this on low ground too, so they might have an engagement with not only this team but Xset in the future.
Definitely, that's a knock for Slacks down to Schmacked as well. Remember, a 13 elimination for the crew before this. They have so much of a gap. They already have 6 coming into this game.
Oh gosh.
You know, we were giving Xset the crown for the low ground, but man, Slacks, Jack, and Acorn really making big work right now. They've been on a meteoric rise lately with the positioning, with the playstyle, so very good to see them in great form here. Bit of a window opportunity to find a shot. They're not going to find it. Creo and Bucky are going to find a conversion on the storm line, though, as the shockwave comes out. It's chaos down in the low ground. 7 elims for the crew here as they get together.
Meanwhile, I think Haz and crew up above are just chilling, just enjoying the carnage down on low because there's so many teams trying to fight it out. 7 elims here for Bucky and Creo. The duo, the sensational duo, now working together. Here's Wavy Jacob on height. They've got 5 elims. Emad with 3 of them. Haz did so well taking height. Slacks is now down. Shambles for them. Jack trying to defend against 2. He's going to go back into his old build. Mega in a box. Oh, he misses the shot though. And now it's a full 50-50 and Jack is down too.
And there it is. They do get wiped out, but not before taking 7 eliminations with them. Haz, Emad, and Wavy on high ground. 5 eliminations fired down. Creo trying to make best in the low ground. He's going to find Av on the low ground exchange, and it's going to be his conversion there. Keeps him in the game, and Xset, I believe, gets wiped out with that elimination right there. Knight is the only one alive now in the low ground. Looks like it's nothing but solos down there outside of High Sky and Scoped. Avery still alive in this game, too.
Avery playing as a solo, same with Creo, then Scoped and High Sky. Lost 2 against 3. Has Emad and everybody's still trying to hold on. Oh, the shockwave play! Creo might have just ended that for that team entirely, but not for himself. He's out. Wavy dead. No, Haz dead. Emad dead. Where's Wavy Jacob? He's trying to survive. Meanwhile, Avery is taking out Scoped. Wavy Jacob still in zone. Yes! Now on to Avery. High Sky's still in the zone. Wavy Jacob might have just found himself a free win. High Sky's going to go down the zone. Avery did get the siphon, though. Now 1 versus 1, but for how long can Avery last? Another shockwave over top! And he goes down. Just 1 more shot from an AR would have done it. Wavy Jacob hangs on for game number 2, and they win after taking out Saf and Stretch.
By a thread, because that shockwave almost ruined that entire end game. Everyone went flying there for a second. That was so close.
That was shades of season 3 with no caddy launcher in sight. What a play from Creo, but again, with no teammate, he's not really going to be able to convert on that. There's nobody trying to out heal against them. So basically just results in a potential loss for Wavy Jacob, Emad, and Haz, but in any case, they grab it. Right? The play that Zayt got split up from his team, they capitalized that by force.
Yeah, it was Emad's pressure from the low ground, a backup Wavy onto Saf, and then obviously the big key elimination for I think Wavy must have boxed up Zate when he landed in front. You saw he was in that fight first. For whatever odd reason, I thought Wavy was battling House for height, just like in the heat of the moment. I'm like, wait a second, there's a battle for high ground. Meanwhile, they're on the same team. These makeshift duos do throw a wrench in my cast in here, but that was insane. So they held height and they took it all the way there on outwards and found multiple frags along the way. That was a dominant performance once they got that high ground, and more importantly, that mystical bomb too.
Yeah, but let's take a look at some of the moments from this game. Creo, Bucky, and Kanata still pushing for their aggressive play. They ended up getting something like 3 or 4 elims before endgame and then capitalized even further. Then there was the big fight. Benji against Savage, or Benji Savage trying to clutch up here against Kaz and Kearney, and he did have the big brain play with the gas can to take him out, but eventually a third party came in, Bizzle, Illis, and Clicks. Well timed.
Gotta love that. Benji just turns around and takes the bullet. Here's the Dub's perspective for another one. This is that crucial fight we were talking about. Pay close attention to the way Wavy's going to step out. The shots come out from underneath, and it's Emad who looks straight up, and there he is, pouncing on over to convert onto Saf. Meanwhile, all that time, you saw Clicks just battling in his lonesome in the mid-ground, trying to stay alive. Second height there. Here's Ninja's perspective as he gets turned and burned on by the Exit boys on the Storm line. It's going to be a free one for Shark there.
And we got so much look at the action down below. This was our team in first place, and they continued to frag out. 6 elims to start that end game, make it 7, but eventually they started to get pinched. They got put in a really awkward situation as it continued to go back and forth through houses in Salty Springs. This was the 9th zone. This was the moment where Jack could have clutched up against Mega, but Creo was right behind him too, so things were so difficult. And then finally, the shockwave play from Creo. Wavy will clean that up, so they weren't all 3 there. They weren't all 3 clumped up, ready to get put out in the zone, and Wavy Jacob's going to be able to convert from there, but still some fights here. Avery against High Sky, he made it work, and then almost made it work on the Wavy Jacob too.
Literally, if he would have just been able to put a wall there to possibly block a shot or two, might have been a difference maker, but regardless, it still goes to the final wire, the siphon, keep him in the game for that much longer. It was a close end game.
Yeah, well, that's 2 games down for Ninja Battles. We got 3 more to go, 5 games total, and you're not going to want to miss them, so come right back after this break. I have to say, the final Ninja battles and also the most exciting ones so far. My goodness, are these players delivering on this final day? Man, like seriously, it's so aggressive from start to finish. It's not what we're used to seeing at all, Monster.
No, definitely not. Not for NA East region, not for Ninja Battles by any means, but it's what happens. You take a tournament like this that has been kept the reins on by having the lobby a little light, and you add in 10 more teams, and hey, the action's unfolding. We didn't even see how many frags Booga Jamper and Avery got, but 13, another big, massive game for them.
Wow, that's definitely going to put them way back up there. That's tied with what Acorn, Jack, and Slacks did in that first game. So a 20-point game for them. That will definitely put them potentially in contention. Not what we're used to seeing from Booga Jamper and Avery. We've always kind of talked about how their performances have been middling. Regardless, game 2 results on your screen right now. Bucky, Creo, and Kanata do it this time with 17 points. They W-keyed a little bit and then push towards the end game 2.
And like always, you see Coop and Chap, they're still chipping away at their placements. This time, of course, coupled up with Furious, they're going to find themselves a little bit, as do Reverse Day and Miro as well. So another 2 games where, again, that's kind of their specialty. They just stay just consistent enough to break their ways into that top 10. One big game is going to be the difference maker. This time around, though, the point spread is very much top heavy. A lot more teams not earning a single point in this game number 2 here. Zay, Saf, and Stretch included on that back page.
Wow, a big donut for them. That's kind of surprising given their way that they play, but I guess it also shows that, you know, gambling for height in 5th zone doesn't necessarily always work out. So that consistency factor missing from them, and also that first game that they won wasn't a pop-off. Here's the overall standings. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks hold on with 32 points. A 12-point game from them will put them for sure up above Booga Jamper and Avery, who had a massive game, 20 points in that last one. And it's kind of a far spread, 8 points between them, but other teams in contention too. Clicks, Illis, and Bizzle, most consistent out of anybody in terms of average points there in 3rd place.
Yeah, definitely a good showing from them so far. Unknown Army, Casker, and Schmeck, though, they've been the frag fest come that mid game. We saw them take a few fights and come out successful. You're seeing how it's paying out now as the points are starting to stack up. Here's your next page, top 10. Still, though, Zayt, Stretch, and Saf are going to hold that top 10. 16 points once again, even though they pull in a donut like you mentioned. The opposite happens for Emad there, who pulls 16 that game and bumps him all the way up to 8th place.
It's funny how that works. So the 2 teams who end up doing very well in their games and contesting towards it and holding it for the entire time end up tied after 2. 3 more to go. These guys still have a chance to catch up. 32 points is where they want to catch up to in this next game, but how are they going to do it? Riverside, Dubs, and Mega, you expect that they can, but so far 6 and 8 points isn't necessarily there yet.
And we're seeing a lot of the flip and flop right here. The not too many points game 1 and a lot of points game 2, or vice versa. These are the teams that have to put it all together, and you can still see them climb their way up. Anything can happen.
That it can. Here's the top 25. Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper end up getting 2 points in that last game based on the couple of fries they got in towards the end. Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce as well at that Salty Springs engagement. But then still, some teams are just not making it work, though. Flakes, Power, Kayaks, and Caducean did get one as well, even though they ended up going down very early off spawn against Ninja and Crew when they, you know, I don't know how they ended up at the same spot on across the map, but they got a reboot in and they got back in towards, you know, the surge portion of the game.
Yeah, just a weird cross of fates between those 2 teams to come across one another on the shambles route, on the mix up of the drop spot outside, and just an unorthodox spot outside of the dirty dock. So the rotate kind of took them all kinds of different ways, but regardless of what, they're still having a struggle. They need to find something new drop spot or something. Yeah, maybe go for the 50-50 for what it's worth. Better off at a POI.
Well, with 1 minute to go until game number 3 gets underway, one thing I want to talk about is how stacked these games are going all the way towards the end. We're not getting the bulk of our placement points until the final zone. Like, let that sink in for a moment, right? We only are getting to around top 9 when 9th zone reveals, which is the final zone. That's a tight little circle, and it's still no placement points getting anywhere. So what does that kind of do towards the teams that we obviously are pointing out, right? There's a lot of low ground teams playing today, and they're not getting any placement points.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mix-up. Like we said, today it's Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. They're just really doing their thing. They're on top of their rotations. They're finding the frags in the process. And you have to assume that Unknown, Army, Casker, and Schmeck are doing the same. Although they haven't had the spotlight on the stream, the frags, the points are there. They're showing that they are doing it outside of just the mid-games that they're popping off on.
Yeah, and I think for one reason that we're seeing a lot of this low ground is how effective Doom's Domain is being up at the top. I'd love to maybe keep eyes on exactly how that fight is going to unfold, if it fights at all, because we're not seeing fights, clearly, but we are seeing at least splits that give one team or another an advantage. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have had Doom's Gauntlet 2 games now in a row.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for them that way. It didn't work out for them the last time that in the last Ninja battles. Out of the 5 games, they got it 1 time. The other 4 is spawned up at the castle, and it just shows at a coin flip, man, anything can happen, and your draw spot's going to be altered drastically, especially at Doom's Domain.
Yeah, that it will. Speaking of other drop spots, Unknown, Casker, and Smacked, they ended up winning Retail Row. As we hop into game number 3, that's a question if they continue to maintain that spot, but also so many others. Scented, Commandment, and Edgy keep pushing out of Misty Metals, and they keep butting heads against Creo, Bucky, and Kanata. How can they avoid that and find themselves a position where they thrive consistently in the end game on a mid-ground layer?
That's a tough question because you notice just when we tune in that early game, Bucky, Creo, and Kanata, they're pressing the issue. They're pressing any fight, whether it be Weeping Woods, whether it be the rotation towards Misty Meadows. They see a build, they're hopping on it, and they're not just running past the builds. They're getting involved. They're jumping in the mix. So that's some aggressive play coming out of them.
This
time to contest
Stark Industries. Yeah, Jamper, Booga, and Avery, who just had a pop-off game, all of a sudden they're contested by Letchi, Benji, and Savage. Alarm bells going off for them now as they have to deal with something unexpected. For the last 3 or 4 days, they've been uncontested at Stark Industries ever since they pushed off Commandment, Edgy, and Scented. There's now a fight breaking out over there that they're going to have to deal with. Booga already takes out Mr. Savage, though. It's a known spot where 50-50s will occur on that balcony, given the 100% chest spawn of the Stark chests.
It's unfortunate we pulled away right as they were getting landed on. You know that's going to be a contested, a heated drop right there. Here's another heated drop. Overtime's Orange here is going to find replays. Another mix-up on the drop spot as far as players trying something new, something different game after game. This time around, Punisher replays a Nick A30, try a wide split, and it's not going to be successful, not at all. They're going to be... not the full team to fall, not just yet. All the teams are still very much in this game. 33, whether it be a mix odd of 1 or 2 still alive. We know Savage is down already as well.
This is a difficult spot for Punisher replays and Nick A30 with the extra players in this lobby. They've already struggled so hard at finding a spot. Now it's all the more congested. So here's Stark Industries, Booga, Jamper, and Avery. They've got the main building for themselves. I see Letchi trying to sneak his way in from the hangar. Yeah, Benji at 12 HP as well. This is a clean sweep. Swish. Dunked on from Booga, Jamper, and Avery. All they've got to do is find Benji, and there's already 2 on top of him right now. They've got the vault key probably as well. And Benji most likely will not be able to pull out anything. Nope, he's done. Avery has cleaned him up. A very quick fight at Stark Industries.
Definitely losing one of your key ingredients there as well. The jump is not the way you want to kick it off from Mr. Savage. Very interesting for them to switch it up, though. Say, hey, listen, Doom's Domain, obviously, kind of tight up in here. There's not a lot of space to work with. You have the NA teams, the NA East team there, obviously themselves being the EU boys. They wanted to mix it up, and no success, though.
No success at all. And also at Doom's Domain, that leaves only 2 teams. A full split. From Castle and inside of the hangar cave. Who is in that cave, though? Because it looks like the vault is already open once again. I'm going to guess that Zayt, Stretch, and Saf.
Here's that Cape Cod battle. We saw the 2 teams that were landing here. Wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but Tilt, Jared, and Tax switch up the draw spot, come all the way south here. It looks like a Nos, Thomas, and crew managed to not drop here this time around. Very interesting as things are just switching up. You just don't know who you're going to get. Remember, they were landing at Retail Row before.
And there was already 2 teams here before. I'm curious now if that team left. So this is very, very awkward for Tax, Jared, and Tilt. Getting sprayed in. No builds remaining. Funk, Nate Hill, and Sticks have gotten them cornered on all sides. Now they've gotten low, but somebody escapes out the back. You got to be careful here. Yeah, that's Tax. Almost catches one, but no. They're now pushing in, and yes, Sticks is coming from over the top too, but he does find Nate Hill. Gets him in the box. Now Funk Bomb going to try to end him too. Oh, he hits the headshot as well. All of a sudden, things have just gotten different for Funk and Styx as they have to end at tilt, only 4 HP. But he's got both his teammates on his back.
That was so close right there. If his shotgun was loaded, he would have had the frag. Literally had Funk running out the door and Styx right in front. They were both lined up, but the combat wasn't loaded at that time. So unfortunate. Almost a huge clutch up right there, but regardless, it's going to fall in the favor of Funk and Styx here. And this is a tough revive to still get off. You got to think about where you have to migrate to afterwards. This is a fully stacked lobby. The zone pushing outwards. They don't have a lot of options for pickups here.
Ninja Paper and Ronaldo have made their split work significantly. They've got shotgun Stark rifles and everything possible. Even an epic shotgun for Paper. Definitely the player you want to have it there. And they're going to start hitting a north side, dead side rotate up towards the top of the map, which has been notoriously empty. Here's a fight we haven't really seen since FNCS Duos almost. A fight at Shark. Arab, very familiar with this too. But so is Blake. They ended up fighting multiple times back in FNCS Duos, and Blake will take quick advantage of Arab, his former enemy here at the Shark. Keys, Cease, and Blake now just need to find, I believe, only Till.
Little blast from the past here for the Shark fight. It's going down. This time around, it's going to be a trio v trio, and Till's not going to survive. The mash comes in. 3 elims for Blake as he's the one who manages to convert on all of them. Unfortunate for Cease. Could have used a siphon, but it's all good.
They still have plenty of time to heal and loot, given that first zone is not too far away from them, so they can spend plenty of time, potentially even going back down to Coral Castle, which is, I think, where they end up starting. They try to get a split around that area.
And that's their first points of the tournament right there for Blake, Keys, and Cease. They were on 0, 2 games coming in, Arab being the best of them. We saw Zexro fall early in the previous game. This is probably why they take the aggressive route in this mid-game, early game fight, I should say. Straight out of the cliffs over here, the craggy cliffs. It's not looking too good right now for Wavy.
Trying to implement somewhat of a open level strategy right here where they continue to rift around the map, but Wavy Jacob left with EMAD. They did work in the last game. They ended up winning because of Wavy's clutch, but he's getting put back against the wall, low off ping, so can't really hold, although he almost drops Macwood. Just barely. Now out of mats though, and Calc Macwood are trying to hone in on his position. There's a couple mats up above. EMAD hasn't done anything yet. He's trying to pop a med kit, it looks like, or maybe a big pot. Wavy just got chunked a little. EMAD now joining the fight, but Wavy's down, so EMAD in a 1 versus 3 against some of the best fighters and former FNCS champions. This is looking very rough.
Yeah, and this is another team that didn't have any points coming in. Oddly enough, a team like EMAD, Calc, and Zex all going toe-to-toe right now. It's kind of rough for EMAD. EMAD's going to slip right past him. A little bit of a mix-up. All the chaos going down, all the shots. Macwood, Zex, and Calc find their first 3 points, much needed, as they as well were having a rough game 1 and 2, same as Keys and Blake and Cease. Let's see what they can do with this momentum they have.
Yeah, this is momentum that they're trying to get back into, because they are a team that's contested pretty much the top of the Ninja Battles leaderboard every single session. Back over towards the Shark though, Cease, Keys, and Blake in a little bit of a fight here against Skittles, Zypha, and Nosh, who land over at Sweaty Sands and Northside Rotate. They end up running into them because of the way that fight unfolded. Nosh, Zypha, they will end up taking height, and they will beam. They'll take great advantage of that, given the opportunity. Now Key's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to try to find some heals. But they all group up back together. I'm just wondering if they have the materials to actually outlast and survive this fight.
Unfortunate, did miss one of those chug splashes there, so that's going to be 20 shield loss to the win. Zypher trying to get in it though. The shotgun shots are already exchanged. He has to be quick for the follow-up here. C9 Nosh is going to fall, so it's a 2v2. But the pinch from behind is going to be successful for him. He needs the siphon as well to stay in the game now. Skittles trying to make best here. Onto what's left of Blake, who's down. He's going to get in front of the zone. It's Keys who's left alive to clutch this one up. He can get the res off though. He can get the save if he decides to. I wonder. Their clock is ticking.
They're picking up Nosh, though, on the other side. Yeah, they've already gotten him up. 5 more seconds for this. They don't know where he is, though, so that's the difficult part, and they don't want to really stay in zone too much. So Cease might get back into this, which might be the key for them to get back entirely into the fight. He's up. No shields on either side. Keys gets a little bit. Cease is now down again. That's also Siphon potentially for one of them. Keys will try to escape. And he does, but he'll get beamed out of the air after that second crash pad. I thought breaking the line of sight was the play for him, but obviously running out of materials. So they might have won the war at Shark, but they did not win the overall fight as Zypha, Skittles, and Nosh continue to clear out space for them too.
And unfortunate because they pulled the zone right there. Check and look at that. It's going to be a short rotate right on in. Anyone on that top portion is going to have free reign on first dibs, the big mountains for potential next zone way up on height. Okay, makes sense. They're on the cliff of the Stark here. It's Arkham shooting down onto Crimson Class. Now we get the other perspective. Here's what it looks like from down below. A pixel up above. He's got the line of sights on you. Pretty rough spot to be in.
Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex is our first insight on what happened at Doom's Domain. My guess is, given that they had the Stark rifles, they ended up disengaging quickly over towards the Quinjet that spawned nearby. And no mythic loot on any of these guys. Which means, once again, it goes to the hands of Stretch and Zayt. The gauntlets and the bomb, respectively.
I do love how whenever you tune in, you see Stretch with the gauntlets, Zayt with the bomb. It's just the way they coordinate the plays. You see Stretch, he likes to tail behind with it, use it to rotate nice and late. That's why they're able to do those successful three-prong holds on high ground. Largely due to the fact that those gauntlets give you that mobility. It's kind of underrated about them.
This fight important here. Slacks, Acorn, and Jack are in first place. Coop, Chap, and Furious seem to be maybe in some sort of surge trouble, given the fact that we don't necessarily always see them taking fights like this. Usually they're trying to get just a couple of tags to skirt the threshold, but no, never mind. 1,057 damage above with just 3 elims, so I'll put my foot in my mouth right there. Chap, Coop, and Furious, for some reason, just trying to play aggressively. On the edge of zone. They've been in situations like this before, but on the defense, and maybe they decided enough is enough. Let's be the aggressors. In any case, though, it is a stalemate, so both teams now trying to figure out the play to rotate after the second zone gets revealed. I don't think we'll actually have Surge be too big of an issue. And yes, they're just going to push for a more centered position.
I think that's a good call, too, because Acorn, Jack, and Slacks are our elimination leaders right now. Popping off. Maybe close, I guess you can count in Booga and Crew, who did also get a 13 elimination game in the previous round. So both of which are in form right now. Let's not forget, Booga and Crew started this game off by taking out the EU trio, Savage, Leshy, and Benji.
Which also begs the question, are they going to come right back to Doom's Domain after this game? But in any case, that's for game 4 to really figure out. Miro Day finding Punisher, the last remaining member of his team, and hopefully just in time for some sort of surge damage to keep them above, and I think that was the key. In any case, a free elim, a free point. I like so much how Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have actually moved out of Doom's Domain, given the fact that not only a second zone, or a center zone a little farther up, away from this, but they also know how much congestion will come into Doom's Domain when there's the opportunity with this amount of teams available.
That's really good insight right there. Like you mentioned, they're just going to be coming in from that southern portion, so definitely poison up on the opposite side is probably your best bet. In the long run, you're seeing it pay out here. It's panning out just like that. They're on the outer edges. People are going to be able to move first. At the zone is pulling more northern now. Only one team that I can see, judging by the map from this far out, has that brick building up above, so everyone that's going to move in is going to have some troubles trying to get past the doghouse there forwards. In the distance, though, Commandment looking for the snipe. Can he find it? It's not going to be able to connect on Swexy. Rex, Arkham, and Ekbiguel. The West Trio trying to make do off of the Stark's cliff, still on the storm line, looking for the fight right now. It's Clarity and Niddle on the other side of the wall. Mikey's already down. Arkham's on the other side too, but Rex gets punished big time. And I think he was on fire right now. Yeah, he's losing health as he's running around.
There's also, Surge is going off, but just barely. I think it might be on the other side of this. Little clarity of Mikey. They do get some space away from them, but look at this. 5 teams are in the vicinity. And us, Thomas HD, are the ones who end up being blown up. Crims is gonna hustle over towards that loot. The Epic Wellland crew don't even recognize is there, right behind them. Smacked, Unknown, and Casker also want to get involved in this too, for good reason. There's so many teams fighting, you never know when you're gonna be able to just pick off one little straggler.
And it's crazy that we're seeing these gas canisters come into use because Arkham and them still have 2 more. One's in the loadout, one's on the floor somewhere in this box. Kind of ridiculous how strong, how powerful these things are, and how they've pretty much finagled their way into the meta. Like, literally, teams are picking them up, they're carrying them outside of POIs, and you're seeing them put to use in these PvPs, in these box battles, in these fights.
Crims, Eclipse, and Class to get the loot off the picks of Thomas HD, Flicken, and us. But how do they rotate from here? 12 seconds till the next. They're going to get up a little bit, which I think is well advised, but very expensive actually from Crims. Hopefully they have some sort of recycled material to be able to use down below. 4th zone, it pulls onto the northeast side of Doom's domain. Saf and Stretch were over west. And then the rest of the lobby pretty much focused down on the southwest of Doom's domain as well. So everybody has to rotate except just a few lucky teams. I like the position of that north side team because that's some elevation too. That is going to be hard to get up, actually.
Yeah, and also if they got to come down, they just get to work off it nice and easy into the rest of the lobby. It's Crims, though, who's trying to make the decision when and where to move, but the battle for the West is still going down. The West boys, Epic Whale, Rex, and Arkham, all fighting, still looking to engage into another box battle. Remember, they did have that gasoline canister, so they can make some big moves. They have some options. Here's a look at Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. Like you mentioned, they were on the west side of the Pleasant Park. They do make it all the way across here. Save themselves a lot of material along the way as well. As you can see, they're not too strapped right now. There goes the explosion from the mystical bombs, putting that pressure down. And think about it, you get hit with one of those, you lose all the builds, you know, it just costs you, and it costs them nothing to chuck it your way.
Plus they use it on cooldown, so they're getting full value out of that. Booga, Jamper, and Avery still all up, still all healthy. It doesn't look like they've spent at all any of their shields whatsoever. Booga carrying the snipe as usual, such a proficient sniper, probably the best on this trio entirely. And he's got a north side position. That was the team I was pointing out, up on the hill. It's not fully up the top, and this is not a steep hill, so it's very easy to climb. But what I'm saying is how difficult it is when there's so many teams pressuring you, trying to come up and base up on the side of it even.
And that's one exciting trio right there. Jaith, Crunchy, and Who Fishy. We saw Crunchy popping off yesterday, placed so high in the NA West. DreamHack opens, showing you that he's doing that against all odds, against the ping, and now on his home turf. Hasn't put too much up today, but still an exciting team. He's actually going to find Ronaldo as I'm praising him here. Riverson falls into the box from the pressure down below, and it's edgy. Aspect and crew. Who's this? Riverson, Mega, and Dubs now. Okay, so Mega's also down as well. It's up to Dubs, who's by himself here to clutch up.
Arkham, Epic Will, and Rex have just picking up a 3-piece as well. Oh my goodness, this thing started getting crazy. 22 teams alive, a third of the lobby has gone down, but we're not even close right now. Still 2 more need to go down until we're at that spot. There we go. We have finally reached the level of a normal Ninja Battles lobby as Ninja and his crew go down.
Not a single person in the half end. Not a single person in the zone yet as the Storm Surge is still going down and people are finally now starting to rotate in. There it is. 1, 2 teams finally make it through to the safe zone.
So surprising too, because the fact that we saw so many teams fighting on this south edge line. Arkham, Rex, and Epic Whale being one of them, but there were so many. Crims, Class, and Eclipse, they were there too. Unknown, Casker, and everybody. They were on the southwest or southeast line. Now, oh my goodness, You said it was empty. Moments ago, it was. All of a sudden, the entire lobby is there within a second.
The big cross. That's that bouncer shockwave coming into motion right here. Another Doom's bomb getting tossed across from high ground as Zate chucks it to the enemies up across, which has to be Arkham and crew. So this is the extended battle out of the draw spot, which is the Doom's domain.
A big difference here from game number 2. Zate, Saf, and Stretch naturally have this 5th zone. They don't have to make a play for it after edging their way in on a mid-ground layer. They naturally have it. They just have to defend against anybody else who might start to opt and build up, which is Eclipse Crimson class who we see on the other side. Those are going to be the 2 peaks, but I think they've actually kept any teams from even peeking their heads over. Zate, Saf, and Stretch are looking phenomenal in this game.
You can see they're setting up for the cross right now. They're just high enough to catch themselves if they inch over the right side of the base here. Here goes Zate. He's crossing all the way, trying to make sure they're nice and comfy for the team to build out and make it to the rest. And now, once again, they have this high ground. Reminiscent to game number 1, reminiscent to game number 2, except game 2, they let their guard down and it was almost all over. No mistakes to be made here, though, as they're trying to go back-to-back right now for Ninja Battles.
Might even pick out Miro out the sky. Nope, he does end up getting white HP, falling short of his destination. Meanwhile, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack are all alive. This is our team in first place, so keep quick tabs on them on low ground. What are they going to be able to do? Are they going to bring it up to 13 eliminations like we saw before? Zate is down. Clicks, Bizzle, and Illis are fighting them. This is the team that we've seen so many times, actually at only Bizzle, but the split of them. Oh, Saf is about to go down too. So low, 14 HP. They had to give it up. Stretch is low too now. And they're split, healing separately. That means a new team has approached. High and Stretch and Saf are gonna have to play buddy-buddy on a mid-ground layer once again.
And it's Clicks and Bizu who are on fire today, in form, already off to a strong, consistent start. One of the more consistent of the day. Bizu's gonna fall though. Stretch's side angle there is gonna be beautiful and open up the line of sight there. Well played for him. That siphon should go over and hopefully keep him in the game. But he's gonna need one more frag. Here comes Saf to back him up. Saf going for the build-off. It's not gonna be enough though. Stretch gets taken out from the high ground pressure. And now it's up to Saf by himself here. The floor gets broken out, and he is just trying to scramble to stay up. On the other side, though, Slacks, Acorn, and crew just cruising their way through the game right now. Still alive, still in that mid-ground layer.
They got the 1 elimination so far. They're going to be right ahead of Saf right now, which he's going to bounce her too, so they might end up engaging with him. Saf did pick up a lot of mats off of Bizzle's body. So he's still in this game. Here's Slacks, Acorn, and Jack. Full low, ultimate low ground. This is where they're known to get a lot of frags, and they've also got the floppers and a lot of heals to be able to play the classic Jack and Acorn style. But how do they set up Slacks to start popping off right here? Nobody on their left or right. There's High Sky, Twexy, and Scope. They're going to start to push over there for an impact frag.
And there it is, big shield pop right in front of him. He wants to step up to this battle. Jack making his way slowly, methodically. He's gonna find Unknown Army. The punishment though, back and forth exchange. And now he has to back up, gets his crew here. Chug Splash is coming out, trying to stay alive right now, trying to stay healthy. He has to bounce back. Here's Jamper's perspective, in a box, multiple players. The follow-up comes through, and it gets stolen as Nosh comes over and just concludes the elim there onto Clicks as well. This is just chaos in the trio setting right now. The mid-ground, the early ground, the low getting the action unfold.
And it's Animal and Ages who ends up taking height later on after Bizzle, Illis, and crew have fallen because of the long extended fight with everybody else. Illis just goes down there to Jamper. The big fight right here for first is going to be Booga and Jamper against what we know of Acorn, Jackson, Slacks, and Slacks just picked up another one on the chat. So final zone just revealed that goes way south over towards the edge of Stark Industries Island, and Slacks and everybody else still alive. They're all by themselves down here, which is very rare.
But at least Slacks does have some builds to get up and over. High Sky's gonna get beamed, and there it is, taken out. That's gonna be a loot delivery for him, though, just enough. Animal sends him out to the zone. He gets a couple shots in. The zone might just do enough, but no, Acorn's still alive, and Chug Splashes somehow behind the line of sight there of the rock in the tree. He's still in the game. Booga through the storm as well, still alive as well. 3 eliminations by himself now. What can he do?
Oh, no.
He needs something huge here. Animal goes down. Ager's up on height. This is no one's game right now. It's anyone's game here.
What the heck is going down on low ground? Agers is just connected with 2. Now, in a 1 versus it's just a 1 versus 1, and Agers is going to be able to clean that out. It's so hard to keep up with, but my goodness, did they just pop off. 12 eliminations for Agers, Degen, and Animal, taking advantage of the chaos on high ground that unfolded between Zaysaf and Stretch and Bizzle, Illist, and Clicks.
That was insane, man. 3 perspectives, all of which everyone was having a war of their own. Everyone was popping off right there. I don't even know how Acorn was alive in the zone there. For whatever reason, that stretched out a little longer. I think Agers ended up picking him off too. So yes. Agers goes from, I think, about no elims straight up, rockets up to 5 for his crew. Pretty massive game for them.
Yeah, and we're going to need the highlights to end up unfolding this all, because while I might be watching Fortnite every day, that three box perspective with how much action there was very difficult to actually see what was going on. So who ended up making it towards the end in that final situation? We obviously know Agers, Degen, and Animal ended up taking it. I saw Skittles potentially in towards the end. I saw obviously Acorn and Jack survive for quite some time, and so did Booga and Jamper. But where did they fall is the big question, because that was the battle for height, or for the top of the leaderboard, still, you know, the height of the leaderboard in any case. But still, where will that end up is the big question. We started off at Stark Industries. It was wild, this fight that unfolded by surprise. Letchi, Benji, and Mr. Savage not having success at Doom's Domain and opting to go for another one of the best spots on the map.
This is that weird drop spot. We talked about the Brazilian team needing to mix it up. They're going to come across Chap, Coop, and Furious here. We need these highlights, though. We have to get caught up. This is action that wasn't unfolding on the stream perspective, per se. We did see this one right here, though. And again, as we get closer to that end game, we'll get more of a bigger picture, a greater understanding of how many players were up, who got placement points, who actually walked away with the frags in the end, because that was insane. It looked like high ground ran out of material and was forced down into the bottom, kind of how Riverson is right here, as he gets chipped out by Edgy and crew.
That was crazy. I don't know how he ended up falling all the way through. Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper, while they did find a little bit of success in game number 2, unfortunately falling slightly before endgame and not able to find and connect all the way through. It was very surprising. I didn't even recognize how this fight went all the way up Stark Industries Hill. But anyways, we get towards the end game. Slacks, Acorn, and Jack were all together. They clean up. Chap on the backside. 7th place here for them so far. Here's Booga and Jamper. They find anything else? Yes, unknown on the backside, but before Jamper goes down. So 3 eliminations for them. Booga's still alive at this point, and so was Jamper. But top 3 is where Booga ended up going down. So a lot of placement points, and then the final fights, the 1v1v, or the 1v2 actually. Slacks. Oh, what a shot there from Agers. And that was definitely 11 eliminations in the Victory Royale. That was a crazy game.
That entire end game for Agers was ridiculous. He did 1v2. He's behind the player, got the knock, and then the double siphon to stay in the game to win it. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the highlights really helped me paint the story there at all, because it was so crazy. Regardless, we will come back after the break with the standings, and we're going to do that really, really quickly. 2 games left, and it feels like we're nowhere closer to finding out who's going to win. These last 2 games are going to have to be decisive for us to figure that out, because right now it's close to the top, Monster.
Yeah, it's anyone's game right now. We've seen a mix-up. We've seen the difference in having 30 teams versus the 20. The point, this difference is all over. The spread is everywhere. The previous game, it was very top-heavy. We'll see how it kind of unfolds here. Another team under the radar picks up big double-digit elims. This time it's going to be Dejin, Azers, and Animal, of course. You saw Azers' endgame. It was a pop-off fest.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, but Unknown, Casker, and Smack also had a good game. They got up towards that final point threshold, and they got 8 elims again. It's not a 20-point game, but it's definitely a bounce back from their game number 2, where they only got 9. Regardless, Bizzle, Illis, and Click start to rise up again. Still, the consistent play is making it really work for them. The rest of this, though, 3 points only for Zayt, Stretch, and Saf, who seemed that they were in a perfect spot, but Zayt somehow, some way, got picked off from Click's Billist and Illis. A late high ground take as 6 zone started to move.
It's crazy. I was just talking about, like, they're not going to make that error again, and this is maybe the second or third time we've watched, at least under the Ninja Battles microscope, them high ground halfway, and all of a sudden, their wide split falls apart. It crumbles. The teamwork, one person lets their guard down and it's all over. And you see how quickly things can turn. The tide can change there. One shockwave launcher, one person falls in high ground, it's over.
Well, let's take a look at the overall standings. Who is at the top right now? It's still Acorn, Jackson, Slacks, and they're holding on strong. Last Ninja Battles, they ended up coming out really, really strong. Similarly to today, ended up winning that first game. But from then, they ended up falling drastically and basically made it to the top 10. But now they're holding on the first, and it's by a significant margin. 7 points between them and second place. So Unknown, Casker, and Smacked. Also Booger Jamper and Avery trying to have their breakout performance after what we expected to be instant for them out of Stark Industries uncontested. They're sitting in third.
Yeah, it looks like Booga Jamper and Avery are picking up the momentum, or keeping the momentum that they carried on through Ninja Battles last week number 4 or 5, excuse me, coming into 6 now, because they were not doing very well in the first half, picked it up in the back half, and it was just a little too late to turn on the gas pedal, but they're keeping that consistency on through to today. So great to see them actually putting up the numbers right now. If they can continue that through the back half, I mean, this is going to be a close tournament. These are the last couple rounds right here, so they just got to continue to play the game that they've been doing it. I mean, they're winning their Stark Industries drop spot. Obviously, that last one is a bit of a red stone in there, right? Yeah, the EU boys land on them. So who knows what this drop spot's going to look like now.
One thing I do want to point out, these last 2 pages within the top 20 area basically is very, very tight. But what that also showed is that at the top, it was not as tight as previous weeks. That means there's less contenders right now for that first place, given the fact that we only have 2 games remaining. So that means that everybody who right now is in the top 10 basically has the key. If they succeed in this game and put some of the other ones down, they might have a free ride towards the top 3 and that extra prizing. Here's the bottom side of the leaderboard. 3 points, 2 points for some of these teams. Unfortunately, not the best showing in this final Ninja Battles, but in any case, we're appreciative of them joining and playing with us for sure.
Yeah, I think in order for a team to win at this point, it might just be contingent on taking out one of the top 2 squads right now. The first place, second place teams have to go down, whether it's Acorn's crew or Unknown's crew, because honestly, if they continue to run away with how much point difference they already have, it might just be too late after this 5th game.
And one thing that we're seeing too is that neither of the teams who are at the top are ending up with the victory royale. So it's more important right now to frag out and get towards those top 5 situations where you can get the most placement points, where you get the maximal placement points aside from the victory royale, where only one team gets that. So we'll have to see if that continues. We've got basically 40 seconds until we launch into game number 4. And with 2 games remaining, I don't know what we're expecting. I'm very, very scared of what's about to unfold at Doom's Domain, given what we saw from Benji, Lecce, and Savage. They might not be at the top of the leaderboard, but they certainly are people that we need to still pay attention to, given their wild nature right now. They're switching things up.
Yeah, definitely. They've thrown a little volatility out there, thrown it in the mix. And a team that I really do want to see, at least in that early game, is Clicks and Bizzle, right? And what are they coupled with Commandment there? They're performing pretty well. And I mean, we haven't seen their mid games. They've just been sneaking in, finding the frags, kind of chipping away at the elimination feed. That's how we've been tracking their performances so far, not necessarily through their POVs.
And I love that you bring that up because for me, that's a return for Bizzle to what he's good at, right? To what he's good at, getting these uncontested splits that are just, really, really good that nobody really understands about how good they are and ending up with consistency. Right now for him, 12 points, 11 points, and 10 points for that trio. If that's not consistency, I don't know what is. They're going to be put in contention for this race, 11 points behind first. Sure, that's not necessarily a good sign, but if they just get one game where they end up pushing up towards the top, and they almost had it in this one, if not for Stretch beaming Bizzle, I think they would have won that game if it wasn't for Stretch's emotional play against them.
And that's the second time now where they had somewhat of a win condition unfold before. Remember that game one, Clicks was the last player alive. He got a second place that time around.
Yes.
He survived, and it was against a somewhat dominant performance from Zay and crew, but you've seen how sloppy they have been their forwards with their high ground hodes. So it just shows that 2 opportunities already for them just slipped out of their fingertips, but still great performances from them overall, like as a general standing on average.
Yeah. Just an update, guys. We did have to requeue the game because the team did not get in. So we're going to do that real quickly. We'll get right back into it. But still, I agree with you what you're saying there about Clicks and Bizzle and Illis. They basically had win conditions, but aren't able to fully capitalize on it. But again, we're talking about a Ninja Battles where winning the game is not necessarily more important than just doing very well on the low ground and very well with your frags. I think for them, it's more placement than frags compared to a team like Acorn, Jack, and Slacks and Unknown, Caster, and Smacked. But in any case, it's still working out for them. Some of these other guys, Xset, on Saturday, we saw them come from way behind. And right now, it looks like they're doing that because they got 3 points in game number 1, 16 in game number 2, and 5 in game number 3. And they put themselves up in that top 5, 24 points. Can they really capitalize and get back into it? Who knows? But this will be the game to find out who is in contention for that first spot. Game number 4. 2 games before Ninja Battles, unfortunately, comes to a close. The finale is getting ever close.
You can tell off the bat, I'm noticing Stark Industries completely uncontested. That win from Booga, Jamper, Avery was enough to fend off the EU Legends as they look like they're going back to Pleasant for the 3-way regional contestation at the Doom's Domain. Here's an early look at Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper, who have found success in their new split drop spot. Unknown Army opens up his drop a little more now that they have retail roads themselves. And here's a look at your other first place team right here. Acorn, Slacks, Jack. Also spreading out, canvassing the land right now, playing for that slurp truck for the free shields.
And back to Salty Springs, do the Brazilian players come. Flake Powers, Kai Docs, all stuck in one house. Kearney, Kaz, and Polarized put them down early in game number 1. They're back at it again. See if they can change things. Nobody has fallen since we started this game, and we're already about to get the first zone reveal. Usually you see at least 150-50 go to completion here, but the tension is palpable.
Yeah, definitely different. You got to consider the fact that Flake's Power and Kaju here, they haven't had success in any of their early games. They're probably not looking to necessarily take a big engagement. But you think if it's like that, then why come back to Salty where you know it's contested? You know the team's going to fight here. This is not a drop spot for 2. It's barely a drop spot for a team of 3.
Having dropped here in trios, I 100% agree. In pretty much any meta, there's only like one time during chapter 1 where you could make a split with Salty really work well, that was with the sky platforms and everything. But here it's just a couple of houses on the outskirts, and when you're contested, you have to stay tight. Thankfully, Kaz and them, they've got a nice spread. They forced them to only 2 buildings, and now they have 3 gas cans to blow everything right on up.
Oh gosh, there it is. He opens it right up, cracks open the shell here, reveals the insides. Kaju's now on the backside, takes the wall, tries to go up with the open. Now the 50-50 exchange between the 2. He gets tagged up a few times, and it's quick work, quick wrap up.
I love that.
Brazilians are down.
Kaz backed off there. He was the first engager. He was the one who threw the gas canisters there, and then Kaduzin came through, tried to engage on him, but he said, no, I'm going to back away, let you guys come to me, and my teammates will split on you and pinch the rest of this all the way through.
Here's that early game. We wanted Clicks, Bizzo, and Illis to see how they're playing a Sweaty Sands drop, and it's working out well. Completely uncontested. The times we've tuned in, they've had a lot of real estate to themselves here. Let's not forget, completely underrated the fact that they get to get those floppers as well, those fish from the entire sea level here, which is pretty generous, especially on the dock side. As far as the overall loot as well, the resource, they can definitely cap off here and fully upgrade if they so choose.
I'm very surprised to see this actually go uncontested here. Clix, Bizzle, and Illis were fighting hard for this spot during scrims against Clix's former team. The shark fight goes once again in the way of Keys, Cease, and Blake, and it looks like easily. But once again, doesn't matter if you're not getting much after this in a tournament worth $80,000, $25,000 for first place. Right now, maybe neither of these teams have any hope.
It's gone 2 for 2 for them there. So definitely is going to be evening up the playing field a little bit for the contestation going on. At the Shark, you can see Coral Castle completely open, so it's not like any of the two need to actually take the fight. There's plenty of space on the field, but that's how you get your practice in.
Good to see Punisher, Nick A30, and Replays up right now off of their split. Not too much shield, though, unfortunately. They are going to try to clean up the river a little bit of these fishing holes and hopefully find some slurpfish or jellyfish or something, and there's one. But anyways, two teams have fallen now that we've seen. Wondering how Doom's Domain is going. Wondering also. Yes, Stark Industries clear of Mr. Letchy Fishy. They're not here at Stark Industries right now, which means most certainly they're over at Doom's Domain.
Yeah, when we had that wide shot, we definitely saw the crosshairs up there. You saw the cursors roaming around, and just judging by the feed, with only 2 teams dropped, one of which we saw fall in Salty, we know that it is very likely that they are still up right now in the game here. As we talk about it, here's the perspective. Wide fight going on right now. NA West is out on the balcony on the soccer field here. Everyone else is pinched up, and they actually have the gauntlets. They have the Doom's Domain's mystical bomb as well. Finally now, they get to spawn it.
It's interesting. We normally see Saf, Zayt, and Stretch on the outside looking in. They are going to make a play out on the back side of this. Almost escape because they had control up top, but Epic Whale will get right back on and force them to stay down below.
That was a bit of a fake right there. You notice when Saf entered in, Epic thought maybe he was going for the flank, so he went up for the high ground. So the mind games back and forth from Saf here.
Waste time?
Yep, just wastes his time here.
But what's not going on the inside right now is any sort of farming. They're sitting very quiet. Zayt has gotten away. He's on the backside, so that fight will happen. I'm pretty sure, given the fact that they're camping the vault, not letting Epic, Will, Arkham, and Rex do much. What a shot from Miro over top of that edited wall. Unfortunately, Punisher Replays and Nick A30 once again get pushed from reverse 2K, and it once again is a clean fight.
And it looks like everyone respectively lost their one-on-ones days, taking out Replays there. Could have gone either which way, but just bested by the stronger pro trio right now. Respectable efforts for anyone to jump in the gauntlet with these guys, though. You gotta give it. Kaz gets beamed right here by Mr. Savage. Same rotate as they did last time. Straight out of the Pleasant or the Doom's Domain into the Salty Springs. Same team they're fighting as well. Remember the last time they were winning in some sense, or Benji managed to clutch up. Leshy with the cheeky plays there on the Polarize, and now they're in good form right here. Last
time this team rolled up on them, but this time they're a little too late to end up being a third party. They're going to try to escape. Almost hits a snipe. Actually, all 3 of those snipes felt fairly accurate in any case. Bizzle, Illis, and Clicks ride straight on over towards center zone, and we'll see them later on in the game. I'm definitely a little scared to see every player right now here up for Mr. Savage, Benji, Fishy, and Letchy. Vault not opened, and certainly Saf, Stretch, and Zayt are not going to give it up. Zone is so far too.
I had a huge grin on my face because I'm like, of course they're sitting in there. They're just going to wait it out, of course. They just send Zayt. Oh yeah, Zayt's on the other side, right? Running around for the flank.
What just happened? Macwood just shockwave 3 times. Absolutely just blowing up the builds right there. Bouncy ball back and forth, but now bouncy ball into a full lobby focus. And beam down Aspect, M-Pen, and Zunis will get the spoils there off of Zexro, Macwood, and Calculator.
Definitely was a bit of a troll play there, just to beam into the builds to see what he can do. Be more of a annoyance than anything else. Commandment, Edgy, and Sentido trying to make best. Once again, this is a battle I think we've seen happen before. Orange, Kiwiz, by themselves split up, left and right sides here. Commandment trying to work around the angles. He's gonna jump in with Edgy now. They got Orange on the run, backed up. Kiwiz loses the exchange to Scented. Now it's a 3v1.
Orange all by himself. Unfortunately, against 3 of the best players in the world. If he wins this fight, it'd be certainly a clip. But in any case, looking very unlikely. Already a big tag for Edgy. He only has about 20 HP left, stuck in a box too that they're getting the pinch on.
They're gonna axe him? Okay. He's just judging by commandment. You never really know when he wants to get crazy with it. He can. Here's the fight. We knew it was gonna break out. Finally, the engagement happens. Rex going for high ground. Yeah, this is a build off right now.
Rex has 2 med kits. Arkham and Epic Web must have their own. Oh, he needs to give this to him quick. Okay, it's a splash first. Saf, Stretch, and Zayd. Hopefully they have something. Otherwise, they're just gonna be hanging on. Don't forget, because they haven't actually fought, Surge is gonna happen, and it's gonna start to tick these guys. Saf and Stretch are left by themselves. Where's Zayd? They must have picked him off from range because he was lurking around that north side. Now working their way down, still not finding anything. I'm not sure if they know that Stretch has escaped down the bottom. Saf is sitting here in a box by himself. He gets spotted though, and he's down. He falls. Saf is dead. Now all they have to deal with is Stretch, and I don't think that that's too much of a worry for them at all. Vault now will be opened, and Rex, Epic Whale, and Arkham, at least they got something for Surge.
Yeah, and they'll be able to jump up in there, possibly find a bunch of splashes. You already know the loot that comes from these vaults are pretty ridiculous. Stretch trying to come in nice and late to play the Grief. He's probably gonna get taken out shortly as well. Pay attention to that feed. Here's Acorn, Slacks, and Jack. They do have that substantial lead. They're in the game. They're playing a little bit of a dead side rotate, playing nice and wide around the outside, trying to avoid the conflict right now.
And you see how far east this zone is going. So this, even though it was, wait, Stretch is, what, I thought Zayd was dead.
Yeah, I guess not. They're still here.
Okay. Well, they know that Stretch is not dead. They know that Zayd is definitely somewhere nearby. Rex is just gonna pop the medkit, so don't worry about his HP being low, but they're gonna go right on top of where Zayd is. All of them exiting here. And he might be able to do some damage. No, he's just gonna fall by himself. All alone in a little basement.
Denying. Just looking to deny points here, honestly, at this point. And there it is. He gets taken out. Lets the zone do the work. Retail row. They get zone once again here. I think it's the second game now where it kind of favors up towards this mountain area. And this is the team that has been so consistent. Like I mentioned, Casker, Schmacked, and Unknown. Okay. EU on top right now with a big W key. Pushes right through Keys, Blake, and C-Stair, making it look easy. On the back portion of the storm line as well. This is where they rotate straight in from the coastal.
Don't forget, they already took out Kaz, Kearney, and Polarized. They're now up to 5 elims. Potentially going to hunt for more. The zone is very widespread, which means a lot of opportunities for clean, empty fights. It continues to pull over towards Retail Row. Smacked, Casker, and Unknown. Look at their split on the mountains. They're going to be chilling for quite some time and hopefully also able to deny some space. So for the second place team, the team 7 points behind Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. Things are looking very good. I would love to see an update on Slacks, Acorn, and Jack because we did see them move into Retail Row with that car earlier on.
That's what I was going to say. They're playing the same area right now, so that would be a clash that would be worth following. keeping track of, keeping tabs on. That will make all the difference right there. Like we said, in order for anyone to really make a substantial difference right now, Acorn and Jack's team have to go down. Slacks and crew. Let's take a look here. Reverse day. All that remains in here is Miro's down with 3 eliminations. So they have been popping off. 2 teams being wiped by the bulk right here. But it's a duo-on-duo action. This is a great fight. This looks like it's probably extended outwards. Yes, it is.
Oh, what?
Cypher into the box, gets let in. 2v1. And he clutches. What?
How did he just do that? How did Cypher survive in that situation? Unfortunately, it does not matter, but wow. That almost took a turn for the absolute worst for Reverse 2K Day and Miro, but they do lose Miro. At least they get so much loot right now, and potentially even, given the fact that the zone is not moving yet, and that Lazy Lake is empty, you saw the spread on that map when we saw it. You saw how wide it was and how nobody was out on the outskirts too much, except for obviously Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex, but they should be able to get that reboot and then get into zone.
We'll see if they ended up picking up that reboot card. It's going to make a big difference here. Remember, this is game number 4, guys, so the second to last opportunity now. We're already halfway through. We're approaching that mid-game. Casker is still based up so high up there.
Look at how that affects. Look, Casker is by himself. Unknown is on the other. Unknown and Smacked are on the other mountain. But because of this spread, because they have all the peaks on the lobby right now, you saw how Ninja, Ronaldo, and Paper had to peek out of their box. You have to be so careful because at any point, these guys will have the coordination to be able to beam you down if you're not paying too close attention to the angles.
I was trying to see if we caught a glimpse of Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, but not yet. They could have probably migrated wide around the outside. Here, though, Epic Whale and Rex did survive their Doom's Domain, rotate out nice and late through the storm line. Looks like they've lost one, though. I don't see Arkham just yet.
Yeah. Most likely went down.
Here they are.
Very unsustainable to actually hold on to. But yeah, here they are. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, like you asked. A little bit north of where Smacked and Unknown are. Still have some angles available to them. Not on the peak, but at least they've blocked the line of sight from the most impactful team right now. And they also still have opportunities to beam.
They're playing safe too, right? Like just that positioning right there, the dead side of the whole entire zone. They're just trying to make it to that end game, steal away as many points as possible. The cheeky placements where they can, as they can. Clicks Bizzo and Illisto, another team we have to keep a very close eye on. There's Arkham falling in the feed. That's kind of how it all went down. I don't know if that was Storm Surge or something of the sorts. Either way, keep it going here. Booga down to no HP. Doesn't look like he has heals to bounce back either. So Jamper and Avery in a rough situation. Remember, they were in top 5 as well. These are all of which teams are very much in contention to give first place a run, possibly close the gap.
So awkward here for Rex and Epic Whale. They're trying to decide whether they want to go first or wait, but the difficulty is how much the mountain range is in zone. Ooh, big fight breaking out right now between Twexy Scoped, High Sky against Commandment, Edgy, and Scented, and they're going to actually back away. High Sky says, give it up. Give up your former duo partner, Twexy Scoped. It's much better for us to get the position here, not worry about the fight, because you know people are going to be rotating in there. You know we might end up paying more than we expected just to get one teammate back up. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation. Xset rotating up the mountain as well. Don't forget, they were not too far. They were in 5th place. 24 points from them. Still a long way to go, but this is the game that they need to bring it back. Meanwhile, Jack just went down.
Jack's down is to Animal there in the kill feed. And now you're seeing this is really going to start opening things up. Remember, they were just north of this mountain. The zone pulls towards them. So for them to fall right now means they were collapsed on inside the base, potentially even open up their guard, maybe sniped or something here. Oh, there it is. It was a trap door play from underneath. A team that got a little too close, too comfortable. Acorn looking to get the punish back. Cheeky too, because he's not popping the big pot. It works out. He's going to find a gasoline. Okay, it's connect onto Animal. And Animal's backed up. A little bit of a punishment there.
Yeah. But I think they
as
just
well.
put too much. They just put too much space in between them that they're not actually going to be able to capitalize on that. Ouch. But anyways, at least they get the space to rotate now. They're not going to have to worry about that team continuing to pressure them, but they did lose their teammate. And as fifth zone spawns, big questions now is unknown smacked. Where did Casker go? Did he not get back? Oh no.
He couldn't make it off that lonely mountain as the zone pulled across, it seems like.
Oh, and fifth zone is so good for them. Oh no, that's a blunder. They didn't have the mobility on Casker for him to get back to that.
Just fell.
Yeah.
Booga being finished up right there as well. So this is 4 of our top 4 teams now have officially lost a partner.
Well, we didn't see Clixillis and Bizzle yet.
True.
Who are in 4th place, 33 points, 11 points from top. Unknown can take it. I mean, they can still hold on to height, and we have no clue. Doom's Domain is obviously completely shambles. Rex and Epic Will, the last 2 members of that. They're going to give it up, though. Wow. They love the low ground so much, and that's where they're going to go right back to. They got to be careful, though, because this could climb up the mountain once again. Oh, there they are.
Definitely.
Illis, Bizzle, and Click still alive. They're right next to Benji, Savage, and Letchi. 1 shockwave and a couple of bounce pads for them. Same with 1 crash pad. So not much mobility, and already half of their mats look like they're spent.
So NG Scented and Commandment now have height, and it's coming off that super steep edge, off that super steep cliff. This depends on which way the zone goes. Slacks actually finds some big tags onto someone on the storm line. This could be an elimination for him here. These are points that they desperately need. They only have 1 right now. Remember, Jack was taken out by Aspect, or by Animal, just a bit ago. Here's Unknown Army trying to see if he can open up this floorboard as well. It's on to Riverson. Bit of pressure behind the wall, though. It's a full trio, though. You see Mega, Dubs, Riverson, all still alive. Coop looking for angles from the other side.
I like this. I like
Big
this.
shots onto X set. No, doesn't find it.
There's an opportunity, but it was so high for him to reach his hands over. And now they, unfortunately, are going to have to pay the price about going off of height when they had it. It goes back over the mountain. They're going to have to shockwave up. They do get a nice bounce, though. A very nice bounce and a nice find here on the mid-ground layer.
Seems like it was just enough to get up over this cliff here, and now they get to play for height again. Don't know who's on super height, though. Obviously, we did see Commandment and crew up there.
Acorn being cheeky. My goodness, he almost pulled one of those players up. If he'd got that at 1 pump, would have been so sick to grab the impact. Avery's left all by himself. This is the team in 3rd place with 36 points. That is unfortunate, but Avery can clutch up. He did it in the game number 2. Almost getting this 1st place, remember, over.
It's not looking too good for Unknown Army, who's getting pressured up top. Running low on material as well now. 1 shockwave remains in the inventory. He's going to go and splash up his team. That's going to bounce them right back into the competition. Unknown just trying to do his best. They get rolled up on a team coming from the outside of storm line. Beautiful layer change together collectively. They're only 67 damage above the storm surge threshold. Slacks is now under the pressure, though. Bottom left camera. Remember, they are in 1st place. 200 damage below here, Bala. They do survive the storm surge.
Yeah, but just barely. And it's because Unknown goes down right there. That ended up cleaning it up. So Slacks and Acorn still have an opportunity, but so does Smack, and so does Avery. Our top 3 teams right now working in shambles, working men down. For Smacked and Avery, it's both of their teammates. And Smack's in zone, he's gonna fall, yes. Smacked down means the 2nd place team has no room to catch up, at least 2 eliminations, but before placement thresholds. Avery now trying to do the same, but no mats for him, and he's down to the hands of Coop. So it's Acorn, Jack, and Slacks who are still alive, our 1st place team. Now trying to pounce on a fight on the outside of zone, it's XZ Shark, who he's trying to grab. But down on low ground, Scented Edgy. Everybody comes through. If they fall here, all of a sudden everybody else falling means nothing.
Definitely. There is still room here to run. Let's see what Acorn can do. No eliminations, just barely alive. 400 material, though, enough to stay alive and in the game right now. He is going to pop off onto Sense there. Not going to find anything. Using his big pod here. He does still have 2 shockwaves as well. This is enough to continue to keep him in the game. Take a look at the wide shot. High ground. Dubs, Mega, Riverson. But it's Acorn who's trying to stay alive here. XZ's team still in this game as well. What is Acorn gonna do? No frags for Acorn, just trying to stay alive. Yes, he's gonna find something, and he pulls up the loot here. He grabs all of D-Roller's loot, and now he has just a little bit more material. Shockwaves come out, keeps him in the game. No! Almost pulls someone off a height. That was so close. Acorn going with the big brain plays here.
Close, but did take a lot of damage for it. Now finds a little bit of a pocket on the outside. I think I just saw Bizzle and Illis go down. Not sure if that's up to date. No, that's way out of date. Kanata right above him. Oh, the shots, the edits. He's going to hold it for now. Maybe drop it down. Yes, that's a full siphon and a full refresh now. So much match to work with. Acorn all the way to top 4 now. He's got all the placement possibles. He's got chug splashes. And that shockwave, I don't know where that just went. In any case, he's still alive. Contesting to maybe get top 2 and maybe get a couple more E-lives because he's got all the placement unless he wins.
High ground is not the team you want to fight, though. That is still a full trio up above. Bucky trying to work his way down. His crew already has 8 eliminations. He's going to land into Scented, and it's a gift because they needed the material. Now they have just enough to continue to tarp out. Middle, remember, this is going right off the mountain, so Scented now at 70 material. That was just enough there. 10 eliminations for Scented Edgy. And Commandment here.
Acorn
is playing the zone, though. Catches Acorn on the flick there, and Commandment finds another one. Now it's a 3v2 situation. Wait a second, they're making him fall. He catches him too. Commandment
Shockwave
is on fire here. Can he get the last one? Mega, he is gonna hit it too.
Up. He's got to go up. He's got Siphon. Yes, he gets it, but he gets beamed. Dubs gets enough HP, and it's over. Dubs, Riverson, and Mega have come out with a clutch. A very chaotic situation given Acorn's play on the mid ground. But oh my goodness, they actually make it work. What I think is more impressive out of anything, though, is Acorn made it to the top placement thresholds, and I think might have just solidified himself enough of a gap to feel really comfortable shooting for first.
And not only that, a few Elans along the way, right? Opening up that trap door, finding Kanata with a big shot. The material that he picked up off of that was enough to stretch him just a couple instances further so that he could fall in third. But still, Commandment with the near clutch of 2 siphons he was sitting on the bottom. All he has to do is hide just a little longer.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah, he would have had... Well, that would have been a 1 versus 3, I think, because of Riverson, Dubs, and Mega. They were chasing all around. Let's take a look at the highlights, take a look at the final moment one more time as well, just to get a clear picture as we head into game number 5, and we see the conclusion of game number 4. What a game. There was so much that happened that I think we might actually have a 3-way race for first, but Acorn, Jack, and Slacks potentially are up there very comfortable.
Yeah, they did not make it easy. They continue to take that gap that they already had and just further it a little more. I mean, I really do wonder, where was Clicks, Bizzle, and crew? Because they were so close. They were situated, looking like they were going to make it through, but I'm assuming the clash with the EU team right on the line there as they were coming in just was enough to possibly take them out. I didn't see them in the end game.
Yeah, I didn't either. Reverse 2K did end up taking huge damage to Zypha, who survived in this box forever, but thankfully Day is here to clean up on both Skittles and Zypha in this case. But here we'll get an image of what happened. For one game, we see Edgy and crew as the team on height. We didn't see much of them, but eventually Riverson, Dubs, and Mega will overtake them.
Here's a perspective from Slacks now. As you saw, he was just trying to snake his way down the low ground. As he gets bum rushed by Commandment and team. Here's D-Roller's perspective. Still makes his way through a top 10, but not for very long.
Almost had that. This is a fight that unfolded, and then he got edited down over there by another one. Just after this, basically, Bucky tried to hang on. Ooh, what a shot onto Aspect. Hold on a second. Bucky also got towards this end of this game, but ended up falling 4th. They still got a lot of elims, but it was Commandment, Edgy, and Scented with 10 at this point in the game. There's Acorn's final moments, and then almost the clutch for these guys. It was a 3 versus 2. Scented goes down, and there, yeah, so 1 versus 3. It would have been possible. Commandment, though, getting beamed from Doves as he finishes up the 2 siphons. What a game. So many people. Yeah, go ahead.
Literally the headshot. Like, the difference there was literally the headshot from the angle of Doves on height, and you saw it. Like, he had the health advantage and everything. The one tick.
Well, there you go. Game number 4 down, and we get a clearer picture of what's going to happen at the top of the leaderboard. We got one more game in this final Ninja Battles, the finale coming after this. Welcome back to Ninja Battles. We've got one more game ahead of us to decide our final week winner. It's been 6 weeks or 6 sessions of awesome Ninja Battles action, and I couldn't be happier for how this one specifically is unfolding.
Yeah, this is quite a pleasant surprise for all of us. I don't think we expected to have 10 more teams, 13 more teams actually added to the loop here. 33 teams are competing today. Take a look at the results from the game 4. This is only the game 4. Another squad is going to break away with 13 plus eliminations. It's going to be Commandment, Scented, Edgy, who had that high ground run towards the tail end.
Yeah, but it was Riversound Dubs and Mega who ended up taking the game and taking a couple of eliminations to 16 points. They'll skyrocket up. Same thing with Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce. They ended up taking out 2 entire trios before the end game and also getting at least halfway through those placement thresholds. Bucky ended up clutching for his team. Same thing with Acorn. My man by himself clutched up towards the final placement thresholds, got 10 points for his team to at least stay up above everybody else. That's the team in first right now.
Not only that, 2 of those were by the hands of his own eliminations as well. So 7 points replacement, 2 on the elims as well. As a solo, as an individual, sneaking his way around that endgame. That was so clutch. A team that I wanted to see clutch out that we did not see back there, though, was Clicks Bizzle and Illis. They were the guys that I had most consistent so far. They had such a great average points. I'm not sure where they exactly fell off or tapered off on that front page, but it wasn't enough to get any big digits, so they are going to be trailing behind still.
Yeah, so many 0-pointers here on this last page. And in any case, we still have to see exactly how this final situation is going to be going into this final game, because at the top, there's a lot of math to be done to figure out what exactly has to happen for certain teams to win. And we're going to do just that. Still struggle bus for a lot of different teams, but in any case, again, happy to see everybody join into this party. Here it is, 13 points in the lead.
Yikes.
Monster, is this wrapped up right here?
This looks unsurmountable right here. 13 points. I mean, you saw the biggest games we've seen today were about 16 to 20 or so, and even then, that's a monstrous game, and it'd have to come out of one of these top teams to do it, and you have to drop them in the process.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
And look at their average. Their average is above 10. So, you have to beat that. And then on top of that, earn 13 points to get the tie. That is going to be difficult. But in any case, if it's anybody to do it, Unknown, Casker, and Smack to prove that they can rise up. But I think Booga, Jemper, and Avery have the keys because they're stark uncontested and they've already gotten a 20-point game.
Yeah, but 4 only for that last one right there. That's kind of questionable. 3 of which the points were not divvied out from the EU team because they didn't get landed on. So does kind of manipulate the fact that the game before that, their game 3, that was a little bit buffed up, right? Because those early game frags. So not looking too hot. I don't know. So far, though, literally, if someone doesn't contest them off the drop, they're going to run away with it. You saw their dead side rotates in that game 4. They were doing whatever it took to make sure they were minimizing, everything at all costs.
Yeah, I worry for them against Bucky, Kriya, and Kanata because they're landing very close to each other, and we know how aggressive that team is. So things could change drastically. The rest of the leaderboard, Emad has, Wavy have won a game, but unfortunately still stuck at 16th place. Same thing with Zayt, Stretch, and Sav, 1 point behind the team that basically put a stop to their momentum.
Yeah, and this is your page right here. Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce, though, are going to rocket themselves up that 11-point game. Not too bad. Here's your 21st to 25th place teams. These are the guys that are very much out of the running, but still got to give respect to them. And you can just see that it's been a tough day for Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex trying to land at Doom's domain, finding no success. Even in that final round, they finally do get the Doom's keys to the vault, right? But wasn't able to do any much with it.
Yeah, how can you play off of that when you have Zayt, Saf, and Stretch fully griefing you in this case, not letting you have access to that? Yeah, it's rough. But in any case, hey, they're going to do what they can to, it's a weird fight, right? Because it's an EU team and an NA West team and an NA East team. In any case, I think that fight, while last time on Saturday, we were pretty calling it irrelevant for the standings. This time it really is irrelevant because we're going to the last game and neither of these teams have a chance at first place, including Zayt, Saf, and Stretch, who kind of flipped the script last time. 1 minute to game, Monster. Expectations coming out of this. We already talked if Acorn, Jack, and Slacks can overcome, but if it's any of the teams below them, who you got?
If it's anyone coming in, probably Booga Squad. Like they do have the highest odds, the highest favors, considering Stark Industries loot is very much a key, a gift, right? To have uncontested in a high stakes tournament like this. So they definitely have high odds. I gotta give a lot of credit though to Unknown and their team.
Yes.
Maybe it's been a factor of the zone landing on top of the multiple rounds in a row, but they have done a pretty exceptional job of making it to the end game as well as a full trio and still converting.
Yeah, now that Clicks, Bizzle, and Illis have had a pretty poor game in game number 4, that team is now the most consistent in terms of outside of Acorn Jackson Slacks, of course. But surprising to me to see Unknown do very well with Smacked and Casker. But still, regardless, they're playing out of Retail Row. How this is zone fair, we don't know how it's going to play out. All of it can change based on that. I'm very scared right now. Bucky, Kriya, and Kanata, they're in 6th place, above Commandment, Scented, and Edgy. But what I'm basically pointing out, landing Slurpy Swamps, they did land at the Quinjet, split it last time against Acorn Jackson Slacks, was landing at the dam. Regardless, we'll see how that unfolds. For one final time, for one final game, Ninja Battles is going to unfold in front of us. The bus is launched, and we're in to game number 5.
This is it. History being made right here. Who will walk away with this week, or session 6, I should say, of the Ninja Battles event right now? $80,000 on the line. The stakes are high. And this is all, of course, for the NA region. A lot of teams invading in, though. We see the West boys here. We see the EU boys. How's the contest going to be going down here? Booga, Jamper, Avery do have Stark Industries to themselves. You can see the team floating up above is going to the lake house just nearby. This Unknown and crew have retail as well. These are a quick glance of all of our top teams.
Wait a second. Okay, there is an arrow in Slurpy Swamp. I was wondering for a second. Wow. There you go. Oh! What is this in Doom's Domain? What is going on? There's literally 6 teams here. Chap is here too. Team Solo Gamers here too. Oh my goodness.
Gotta love the Fortnite comm. They're just gonna show up and make things interesting every single time. Zate's gonna walk in though, get a little bit of a cleanup crew on the down body. Stretches here for 1 elimination as well. What just happened?
We got a custom game, set lobbies, and we have a W key game on our hands. We have a hot drop game on our hands. Doom's Domain is the spot, and somebody could walk away with up to 10 eliminations.
3 teams already wiped out of the mix here. Punisher is here as well. You can see Rex is falling in the feed as Replays falls as well. Punisher go ahead, and Arkham takes out Nick 830. Okay, so just give you guys a little bit of a mix. Stretch is gonna go ahead and give Savage the work, and now try to follow up on some Benji. Benji is done. He's done.
Well, they have an early night. They don't have to play out game number 5. Now Zayt and Stretch are doing okay. Did they get the card? We already heard a reboot go off, by the way. You heard the little bell from the van itself. Arkham, they're actually camping it right there, so maybe it was them, but in any case right now. Oh, it was Epic Whale who was down. No, sorry, Rex. I didn't even realize because Punisher was in there. I didn't even see his name. In any case, Stretch, Zayt are coming in quick.
Oh, he's gonna hit 3 body shots there, and Stretch already at 3 eliminations. Zay has 1, so that's 4 for the crew. If they get this wipe up right here, that's 7. I'm not sure with how far they are. I mean, we counted them out, but in what world are we fooled twice? Where they just come back with something ridiculous.
Well, they're gonna try. Stretch and Zayt right now. Reboot's down. They have 3 players to get through. 100 Thieves. Okay, there's a start. Rex is down. He just popped a medkit, thankfully, so he's still alive. He would have been down if that timing didn't work out for him. Arkham has some room to work with, but they only had this building the entire time while they were fighting. Zayt is looking like a little henchman on the outside, but just baiting Epic Whale into trying to make that shot, and it counts. Oh, the shockwave through too. Does Epic Whale get finished? No. Went right through the box. Gonna try to get on it again. Stretch goes down, gets into the wall. Box fight on 2 angles here. Rex being one of them. Arkham is on the backside too. He's got to be careful.
This is a 2v3 situation right now because Saf is no longer in the run right here. They're backed up. They're playing it like it's a 3v3 though. I don't think they realized that Saf wasn't in the game, and now Zayt's gonna go on and be able to pick him up. The full loot split as well, so he's coming in with shield, weapons, and everything of the sort.
Meanwhile, what happened to Chaps crew. I'm pretty sure they just got Doom's loot and just left. I'm pretty sure it spawned down there.
Remember, Coop was
yeah,
down,
but
so.
there was a team down there inside of the cave, right? And there's no fire, nothing here, so it's gotta have been there, and they just left. Whether it was Chap or not, in any case, right now this fight's still unfolding. It's gonna go to completion right now. They're starting to run out of mats on the other side. Arkham Rex and crew. Zayt and crew have still a little bit because they got the siphons, so things are looking good right now for this fight, especially with Saf now in as well.
Saf with that big boy LMG, just a versatile enough weapon to go ahead and do close range damage and long range. So he's got the pressure in his pocket here. Stretch and Saf figure it out. They're up top. Zayt gives the info. Stretch goes around. Zayt goes up top as well. The big shotgun shot. It's a knock. And the follow-up. Ooh, the back-to-back for Zayt onto Arkham as well. Oh, no. Making a 3-piece special. Let's go.
That's dirty. That's dirty from Zayt, Saf, and Stretch on the West players, but the entire lobby landing on them, and also more playing against here at Coral Castle. You know, we might be having a little bit of aggressive play, a little bit of desperation, but for sure this last game is going to be fun. And no matter what, we're still looking at the top spots. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks are holding on right now. And we'll see if they can stay away from any of these psycho players.
Hey, you gotta love it. The guys at the bottom just going ahead and doing their thing, and you know what I mean, taking care of themselves while the big boys play for the money up top. So that's how it's all happening here. Take a look at your current leaderboard, your standings. They fly in, put the stakes on the line here. Booga Jamper, Avery, Unknown, Casker, Smacked, and Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, your top 3 teams right there. The difference, 14 points to go on and hop on up. It's gonna be a close one.
That it is. This fight, not as important as the rest, but potentially important for FNCS. Arab in the mix. Hoofishy, Crunchy, Jaith. This is a full trio. And then Nosh, Zypha, who typically play in this area, but also potentially Sweaty Sands is an eye for them. Right now, they didn't fight it at all today, but they did push into this specific area. Skittles is the final member of that. Normally, they play with Cloud, though, I'm pretty sure, unless things have changed since the great snakening of 2020.
The great sneaking. All these teams dropping friends and replacing them with news. We'll see what sticks. We'll see, like, overnight things can change. It's kind of crazy because game 4, this drop spot had no one here. Game 5 coming in, 5 teams or 4 teams here for the battle.
They have zone, so they're basically just sitting still for now while the fight unfolds on 2 different fronts. Arab and Till, again, unfortunately stuck. Nosh and Skittles are going to go over top. Arab gets knocked. And they also potentially are going to be able to find DP Chew down below. Till almost gets beamed. But here comes Zypha too.
Still getting pressured from what looks like a team in the distance. Yeah, they're on the outside. If you just look at the maps, they're on the outskirts here, pressuring in this. That squad is being pesky. Oh, Skittles with a big shot to bail him out onto DPC Chew. That's gonna work out for him.
That was nice. Missed the first couple of shots. Didn't have AR ammo. Switched back to the pump and he makes it count. There's the team on the outskirts. Zypha is already gonna start to pressure and zone them away before entering this fight. But here's Unknown, Smacked, and Casker. Zone moving. And they really have nothing to worry about at all. Nobody on the radar, the minimap whatsoever. And I think they might actually get some extra Quinjet loot. Here is the team in first place. Unknown and them were in second. Another rotate off the bottom side of the map, the outskirts of the zone, and they're going to be able to farm back up and potentially even get any extra upgrades that they need. There's no chance of them getting W keyed right here on the side of the map.
And just look at how early they went as well, not even having max material before leaving their drop spot, just showing you that they are prioritizing positioning on the way through. Booga Jamper, Avery doing the same right now as well. A little different loot-wise, though. These guys are completely maxed out. To the neck.
Jeez. And they get even more, my gosh.
6 big pots, holy.
I beg the question, what the heck do the other teammates have if he's carrying 6 big pots? And they have the Stark whiplashes. So not only can they use that for the rotates, what I need to see from them, I think what I would love to see is a slower rotation in. Wait on the outskirts of the zone. This is a different play, right? Ooh, Kaz. Getting a little cheeky there, trying to not be seen at all. He's so far from his team. They're coming in from the left side, though. Yes, okay, they're still there. I take the words back.
Yeah, it's actually gonna work out. They got that nice little natural elevation. Polarize is gonna give it up though. He's gonna jump on in. Kieran is gonna come in as well. Okay, so they're looking for the full-on engagement. Kieran takes the wall. Let's go for the shot on the exchange there. It's not gonna find it on the other side. You hear his shots being traded out. It's Miro who's playing defense right now. Finds a little bit of a tag onto Polarize, even in the field a little bit now. On the other side though, reverse back against the wall. Day comes up to the high ground. Kern gets hit for all of his shield, and now forced on defense. It's a 3v2 in the low ground, but Day gets punished as well. All even exchanges.
While this is ongoing, look at Casker smacked an unknown in the backside. Oh, I was thinking for a second that they just might skate by, but yeah, why not? Let's investigate a little bit. See if there's anything easy. Does anybody do it? Definitely be a trio with unknown on it.
These shotgun shots here definitely gonna be the signal. Okay, yes, look at, they're moving in now. It was quiet for a couple seconds for Unknown's team, and they said, oh, wait a second, the battle's still going on.
They didn't get the tags. They tried to 3-2-1, but didn't get the tags to be able to actually give them the incentive to go in. This box fight, though, if it continues to open up wide like it is, they might continue to take shots. And especially as it closes up. This is going off. Oh, my goodness. This just got crazy. Kaz now down. Kearney left alone against Reverse 2K Day and Miro. He's got Reverse 2K in a 1 versus 1, but they're coming in from the backside, and Day will clean him up. Unknown and crew, by the way, are gone.
I could just tell Unknown deep down inside was struggling to run away. You could just, looking at the map, you saw the cursors. They kept looking back and slowing down, and by the time you realize it, it's too late. Another 2 sets of teams coming in hot onto Who Fishy, Crunchy, and Jaith here. Who Fishy by himself in the mix of what is 2 solos otherwise, and then a trio coming in rotating from the backside. It's the Brazilian boys, and Stretch on the run from them right now as well. So seems like they didn't have a good time coming out of Pleasant Park.
Acorn, they found somebody. It's Tilt and crew, and I think they might even be able to wipe that. How did he get that shot through on Tilt's head? In any case, a trio of whites. They've got 2 Elims, Jack, Slacks, and Acorns on the edge of the map where they're so safe. Have just put themselves 2 more points ahead of everybody else.
Oh. Stretch taking on the full 3-man team. He is going to find Kaduzin with the knock there. Flakes now trying to stay alive. FL Aches here. On the other side, see the revive going off for the Kalo. So Who Fishy actually saved Crunchy. And that's going to keep him in.
Well, I think a lot of these guys, not only are they, if they were to have a chance, they'd need a lot of elims, but also they're under time constraints as well. Crunchy, Who Fishy, though, no matter what, they're going to play towards the ends. 2 players now down below them that they'll have to find. While we continue to scroll through all the different teams as well and also try to follow this crazy action. Don't forget, Booga Jamper and Avery, we saw them earlier. They have a chance. Same with Unknown, Casker, and Smack. They're all still alive and playing a little bit more sensibly.
Colazo, Vivid, D-Roller, we haven't seen much of them today. But Booga Jamper and Avery we have, still up. Finally ditching those Stark vehicles, rotating on foot, coming in through Sweaty Sands. Upper portion of the zone as well. Let's not forget, on that back side of the cliff, that's where we saw Jack, Acorn,
Yep.
and crew. They found that frag. It's isolated back here, yep.
This should also allow them to get some decent positioning up even further north over the side of that hill that this zone always tends to go over. A little bit further east of the castle. It's the overlook over the mountains, or over the beach and the ocean. Instead for Booga, Avery, and Jamper, yes, it could pull into Sweaty Sands. But for them, they have to get through the basketball court, which is fairly wide open, And then also up that hill right there that you see Ninja and Paper rotating away from.
I was just thinking to myself, is Ninja still up in the game? The question has been answered. Ninja is still alive right now on the beach. Ronaldo way off in the distance. That is their third. Guys, he's based up next to D-Roller, Colosso, and Vivid. Not sure how the spread is this wide apart. Ronaldo is holding the edit there, possibly on a ramp to just gather some information. Here, though, a team that matters a little bit more. Unknown, Smacked, and Casker. Still no eliminations. This is alarming for anyone who's trying to close that gap up to Slacks, Acorn, and Jack.
Very good point. Very good point. And look at their position on the left side as the team furthest left. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. They're sitting pretty right now and chilling. Basically, what's going to happen is both these teams are going to get towards the end game. And if they both make it to placement thresholds, you have to out-frag the other team. And that is no easy feat, even that top 5 at that last placement threshold. So how does that work? Here's a couple of free elims for the rest of the lobby. Who's it going to actually go to? You never know. It's basically kill roulette at this point.
This is done and dusted when you're this far out. You can see Ninja joining into the party here, looking for some tags. And Ronaldo is going to find Zypha. Okay, so even that far off in the distance, this is going to fall into the team of Ninja's crew.
No, they did make it ahead of zone now. They're not worrying about the storm ticks, but as it comes out, yeah, Ninja's going to find them again. Even more shots. They're going to run out of materials as they edge their way into zone, and the entire lobby will continue to focus. Although only 2 teams can get this angle right now, Ninja's crew and EMAD. So, yeah, they're going to engage, Nosh down. Skittle's also going to be quick to follow, and they're getting closer to get some of this loot. Yes, shockwaves. Wait, no. What did he just pick up? Actually, oh no, what a... That was so close, but Ninja turns and burns, like you say, Monster.
Yes, sir. That was the play right there. Turned to burn them real quick. He's going to go in and find the frag. He needed that too. That was a surprise. He was still in there, ready to back up his teammate, but Ronaldo and Paper come up with the clutch extra damage, just go in and sweeten it up right there and not leave Ninja behind. On the other side, the most northern portion, you have Clicks, Illis, and Bizzle branching out. Look at the huge ramp, the god ramp they set out with the brick there. I think they're going back to double up and refarm what they can on the coastal beach. That's why they're so spread out on the map.
Very little mobility for Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, though, but not the biggest of deals given their centered position. They should be able to rotate to any 5th zone possible very easily on low ground and then play low ground from there, which is their key. And as they start to get frags, if they start to get frags, things will look very good. Smack, Casker, and Unknown get right on the edge, but a lot of congestion is going to be coming from this. None of the teams that typically play for height are in this game right now. Saf and Stretch are out. EMAD has the great. Wavy Jacob are out. I think Eclipse, Class, and Crim's still in, but I'd have to wonder whether it's the play right now for them.
Ooh, Wavy's gonna find Ninja in the feed there, so Ninja's down right now, just with a knock though. Remember, they were on that mountain, so that means they're fighting on the rotate on now. Team that was coming down the mountain, and Ninja rotating late out of Sweaty. It looks like there is a clash going down on the map there, so pay attention to the feed there, see who comes out on top. Stretch finds Leshies, so Stretch still alive. What? I didn't even realize that they survived, actually.
No, that's gotta be old. That's gotta be old.
Yeah, that's catching up. That's catching up. I'm like, huh?
Sometimes this feed is so difficult to tell whether it's real or not. Because you always have this slight glimmer of hope. You're like, they could make it, like, but
right.
In reality, it's
long gone.
Yeah. Okay, here's another team. Yes, and very important. They made their way in. They ditched the start cars. Even though they took high ground in Sweaty Sands, they had to give it up. Now they're on low. Jamper, Booga, and Avery have huge chances here. They're only 14 points behind. Anything could happen. If Acorn and crew go down, oh no, Unknown outside zone. They did get 5th, but no, he falls to the hands of Jamper.
Casper comes in for the save though. Almost had it too. So close with the savior there. No, he's not going to get it. Instead, it's going to cost him about half of his material count. A lot of it being the heavy mats as well. It was a risk. The gambit did not pay off, and Jamper is going to be the one who's going to scoop it up, and this is going to trade hands into a team that needs it here, into a team that's contesting for first. Still, though, an uphill battle, so far, so steep to climb.
And from a team that needed it too. That was third against second. Third place against second right now. They give themselves not only chances to overtake first, but also chances, if anything, to overtake second, which is still a wild battle that's unbreaking, and all these guys are still fighting for that too. So don't forget, it's not just first that matters, it matters the most, but Acorn, Jack, and Slacks right now, they're sitting very pretty.
A little bit of a situation check for you guys. Casker does have these 3 shockwaves, so he should be a-okay to make this rotate.
And
One
two on
less
Smack.
person to worry about. There is a silver lining here. Should be easier for Smack than Casker to stick hip to hip on the rotates on through moving forwards. Now they do have 2 shockwaves as well into Smack's loadout as well. Up above though, Jack. This is the team in first place right here. Slacks and Acorn already 2 eliminations. If the gap was 14 before, they made it wider, making it 16 now. Avery, Jamper, and Boog on the other hand have only closed that by 1. So the distance still noticeable, still there.
It's a tie game for second, but between them, 13 and first. All top 3 teams on your screen right now. Every single one. The difference, no mobility for Acorn, Slacks, and Jack. Thank the Lord that they got 6 zone, because otherwise they'd be running on foot and things would look very difficult running through old builds and rotating with the entire lobby. Instead, now they're going to be able to get the front side of this.
This is where they've been operating all day long, all 5 game long. Low ground, front of the zone every single time. I wonder how many of these pop in their actual favor. Or the one time that it does, it's when they don't have mobility, so even more of a blessing for them in disguise right now. You can see from the wide shot, they are very much in front as Scope cuts them off with the big shockwave to the front. Here's Booga and crew trying to make their rotate. Playing for this mid ground, though, in front of the storm line beautifully here now.
Bizzle, Clicks, and Illis have height, by the way, which is a huge opportunity for them potentially to rise up in this top 3 themselves. Probably out of range for first, but who knows? Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, that's the people I'm looking for most in this elim feed. If they fall, all of a sudden the game pops wide open. It looks like they found themselves a layer that's contested. There's people on all sides right now. They're trying to find their way through. Slacks is way in the front. They've gotten a very, very nice angle. They're going to run up into Xset, though. Yes! Shark has been knocked from the hands of Jack. They just got to make sure they don't get too far ahead. And they do, though. He escapes with the body. They might even get the res.
Yeah, you can see how safe they're playing. They do not want to risk this game at all. They're trying to keep their distance, anything that it takes. Not even taking the risk to conclude on the elimination, because this is the last game right here. Casker, though, Smack still alive. Like we said, they have to stay hip and hip with one another. Big pots coming out and everything of the such. Avery here, split from his crew, finally finds Boog up above. Back down to low ground, though.
Ooh.
Here's Jack, 400 damage above, and someone ticks over there now. So still very much in this game. They own this entire low ground.
Dude.
No one is on their layer.
Not a single person is fighting against them this entire time. They've barely taken any damage, and in the meantime, they've gotten 2 elims. Casker's smacked. They're not finding anything either. Neither is Jamper. They found 1 elim, but still not. Acorn and crew going down. Here's Scoped. That's not even an elim. Somebody else took that. Jack Slacks, they're trying to knock down Xset again. Trying to knock down Shark for a second time. They're going to do it. They get the box. Yes, they get the kill. Here they go. 2 elims make it 3. Another one goes down. Knight is out. Xset is getting completely demolished right now from Acorn, Slacks, and Jack.
Just look at this, rolling as a pack right now, acting together, sticking with one another. It's beautiful, high-tier Fortnite play here, and they're doing a great job exercising their layers so well, so clean right now. On the bottom right, Npen's gonna fall. Another crew gets wiped out, and that's it. Third place team is gone. On the other screen now, Jamper, Booga, and Avery, your second place crew, still looking to jockey up and hold that high for the prizing that is still to come.
But Acorn, Jack, and Slacks are not letting anything go. They're already getting to the placement threshold and continuing to roll. This is a win. This is clinical for Jack, Slacks, and Acorn. And still all alive, too. Meanwhile, Booga's shambles, starting to get pressured from height. That's going to be Clicks, Bizzle, and Illis still. Everybody low. There's some chug splashes to work with. But Jack now split. He's in zone. Acorn does get up a little bit. They might be playing slightly differently in this game. 7th place now, still a lot of placement to unfold, but nobody's making the room. There it is, 4th place. There it is. I think it's over at this point, and they're going to start to make a play for height too.
Absolutely. Now they're still playing for the W here, though. They're trying to get together right now. Acorn still in this game, 2 eliminations. They already have picked up 7 elims already, just kind of doing their thing. Clix has got high ground, though. Illis on the way as well with the anti-shockwave style base, the little bit of distance between themselves. Here's Bizzle jumping down, trying to get into the mix, but he's getting closer and closer to the layer that is Acorn and Jack. Up they go. They try to make a little bit of a dash here. Acorn goes for it, but he doesn't realize the anti-defense is set up. They're all the way up top, so he gets punished big time. Down he goes, back to his crew.
This is a 3 versus 3 versus 3. Unfortunately, Acorn does go down. Slacks is going to try to make work, but it's sent to Edgy and Commandment down on low. Jack will get a fire back. Doesn't exactly trade it all the way through. He drops all the way down. Meanwhile, Clix, Illis, and Bizzle are doing the same thing. Commandment now left against Illis. Edgy in here too. Illis going to try to 1v2, but he gets Commandment down. Oh, and Edgy too. Illis. What just happened?
Oh my gosh, the huge pumps from Illis to connect every single time it mattered. 6 eliminations right there. The 2-piece chicken nugget, my gosh.
That
well
was
played.
Dirty. Oh my goodness, that was dirty from Illist. That team had some promise. Actually, everybody in that Commandment sent him to Edgy once again, pushing towards the end game, but
I was just gonna say, if they had a good game 4, they would have that win right there would have been such a big difference maker. Just one game off.
Yep.
One game off.
Acorn, Jackson, Slacks made it towards the final threshold outside of the Victory Royale, and they also had 6 eliminations, so I have to think that the first place is almost all done and dusted. We do have to obviously do the tally up and figure it out. In any case, Unknown, Casker, and Smacked went out very early in that game, or in the end game, I should say. Booga, Jamper, and Avery made it past them, but I don't know if they had the elims to actually stay with Commandment Center and Edgy. In any case, let's take a breather for a second. We just watched the final game of Ninja Battles, but it was a crazy one. It delivered on so many levels.
This was the most hype week for sure, especially after a nice slow pace that we had for some of the other starts, considering it was 20 players. So big mix-up, big change here, and I say all around GG success. Here's one of the funniest moments of the day. Benji, for the second time there, turns his back and just lets himself get taken out for what it's worth. What a day of games, man. Bunch of highlights, good games. It was dope.
Good. Yeah, it was awesome all around. We also got some W keyage from the hands of Zayt. This was one of the nastiest 3 connects I think I've seen Zayt ever have onto Arkham Rex and Epic Whale. And so many storm fights, but Ninja made it work here against Skittles, who dived on him. Surprisingly, I think nobody expected Skittles to come back through that after his teammate was dead. But in any case, it was a nice play. Here's the end game, though. It was crazy. Even with all the W King, this is what we're left with.
Yeah, it was still Storm Surge. It was still stacked lobbies. Like, it's crazy because when the wide shot happened, even after, all the other teams were out of the lobby, like, it was nothing but people that were, like, in the top 20, in the top 15, right? It was just notable trios, the greatest ones, the ones that have played the best today. So quite just a great caliber of endgame. Such a great endgame here. We watched it unfold. Smack still trying to make the best of it. You have to assume, though, like with Clix, Bizzle, and Illis, that big victory there, they might actually have snatched up second place. Surely had to have thrusted their way to third, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Commandment Center and Edgy also had a very, very good game. So after these highlights, hopefully we'll have the scores all tallied up that we can take and look at. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, though, got all the placements they needed and ended with, what is this, 7 eliminations too, so almost unbeatable given the fact that they were already 14 points in the lead going into this game. There's Commandment, Sentin, and Edgy, but Illist hits one of the nastiest 1 versus 2s with the shotgun shots that confirmed for him. They were clean, and that's Illist. I mean, they split with Furious and Crew, but Illist has been clutching. Same with Furious. I think those 2 controller players are up on the rise, and people are really starting to notice.
They sleep on him for sure. Furious included. I was just going to say, between Illis and Azers, they had 2 of the most disgusting, like 1v3, 1v2 clutches today. So we saw 2 incredible end games unfold out of the 5. That's a major treat for what it's worth, because you don't get these games very often. You don't get this kind of stakes on the line, and you don't get all these pro players to take it seriously under the big umbrella for Fortnite competitive. So definitely a treat on behalf of the Ninja Battles crew.
Yeah, 100%. Huge thanks to Ninja and Epic for putting this on and supporting this event this entire time. It's been such a fun time over the 6 sessions that we've had. So got to give them props. Hopefully the community also recognizes the work that has gone in for this, because it's just been so much fun, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, a lot of coordination. You see community members involved from production, from the ops crew. We do thank you guys, man. This is such a dope show. It's a flawless show. Even myself, right, as this talent, we just hop up on here. No hiccups, man. This is what you hope, this is what you dream for, right? And then great gameplay. So it is the best of all worlds. This is what you can ask for Fortnite competitive.
Yeah, 100%. And I couldn't have hoped for a better final day of Ninja Battles. But, you know, if this tickled your fancy for Fortnite action, don't worry, Ninja. On this channel, you'll be able to watch Fortnite 100%. It's going to be coming still, even though Ninja Battles is over. In any case, guys, we are tallying the scores. We are going to get confirmation on who the winner is, and also how that second, third, and fourth place duel is going on, because for sure, you've already pointed out to the teams that are in contention for that. Clix, Illis, and Bizzle, a new formed trio. Newly formed. I know Bizzle and Clix have played together before, but Illist is completely out of the blue for these guys and kind of shook up the scene entirely. And here, basically, what, 3 days, no, not even 3 days after this trio is formed, they're very much in contention for one of the better trios, at least from today.
Yeah, and it was a shame because we didn't even get to see all their early game, all their mid game. We just caught glimpses, right? Glimpses. So,
Yeah.
you know, their strategy, their formula is still very much hidden. Their potential still very much, you know, not quite uncovered just yet. So do want to see how they're playing it out. The few times that obviously we saw the zone go towards the center, you know, Bizzle was up on basically Bizzle's mountain, right? So like, you know, so he's got the strategies. He's back in his hometown. He's in his territory that we know he knows how to play. He knows how to operate out of. And I think that's going to be a better showing for him. And it showed in today's gameplay just outright.
Yeah, that it did. 100%. To all the players, fantastic job through and through. And we do have final standings. We do have the final leaderboard. So let's go ahead and reveal. First up, we're going to look at the Game 5 results. See exactly how many points players got, because Clix, Illis, and Bizzle, like we talked about, 18 points in the final game.
Just look at it. I'm just letting it all kind of absorb here. What a game indeed. The tied up, though, the 3 for 3 right there. Third place, fourth place, reverse. Day and Mirror, they've been so good, so consistent every single game, popping off, finding the little bits of frags they need. A commandment sent to the edge, of course. Another 7 there. Book and Jam for Avery. The 4 points for Elims. The 7 for the placement. We're going to quickly breeze through these other pages here as everyone else was concluding up their games. That was the W Key Fest. You can see the frags are pretty widely dispersed because everyone landed either at Coral, it seemed, or in Doom's Domain.
Don't be mistaken here. 12th place for Zayt, Stretch, and Sap in this game. They did not get anywhere close to the 12th place because they were just W-king through. That was 7 Elims off of spawn, and then they pushed into Coral Castle and ended up getting cleaned up. But everybody also, you know, added into the mix.
Well, the best part about that, we asked about NA versus EU versus NA West, and Zayt literally wiped up, or at the very least from what we saw, concluded all those crews there. So NA East on top today, at least for the Doom's Domain drop spot. Still was fun to watch all unfold. A different pace for sure.
Yeah. Well, now that we see the Game 5 results, it's time to unveil our overall standings, the final standings for the final week of Ninja Battles. Here's the final page. Huge shout outs to all the content creators and players from all different places who were brave enough to face this stacked lobby of incredible pro players time and time again. Nick A30, Replays, and crew are here every single week.
Absolutely. Always stepping up to the play. Always up for the task here, putting in the work to have some fun and make that good content. And here's your next page as we continue to breeze on through. You can see the points here are going to start stacking up, and the gapping begins coming after the 21st. Epic, Will, Arkham, and Rex did not do very hot, but what do you expect when they're playing against all odds? And of course, in one of the hottest drop spot, which is the Doom Domain. So we're now approaching that top 20. Not far behind is Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lachie, of course. Great game 4.
Yeah, definitely great game 4. 16 points for them. A lot from Elims. They were W King already in that game. In any case, Skittles, Nosh, and Zypha, 23 points. Coop, Chat, Furious are on that board as well. Now into the top 15. Right, actually, 11th and 12th do get prizing here. So Vivid, DeRoller, Colazo, 33 points. Right over Riverstone, Dubs, and Mega, who ended up winning one of those games.
Yeah, crazy for Emad Haz and Wavy Jacob as well. They took game 2 and then just fizzled out of the competition. Having a great game 5 though, pretty decent. Of all things considering, top 10. Remember, this is where the money really starts to spike up now. The prizing being divvied out here. Dijon, Asia's an Animal, a crew that we did not really get to cover much of, but played relatively okay. That game 3, 21 points, massive for them. Aspic, Enpen, and Zuni's doing the same. You can see as the points go up here, Bella.
Yeah, all the way up to 44 points. There's definitely a bigger points spread overall in general because we had more teams. So more elims on the board possible inside of the entire game. Here's the final page of Ninja Battles. And we're going to see the top 5. At the top, it's
Wow.
Acorn, Jack, and Slacks by 18 points. Quite possibly the biggest spread out of any of the sessions of Ninja Battles.
Session number 6 and the 69 points. You know, just clean it off real nice like that. The last one for the series right here. Well played. Here's your champions for the Ninja Battles week number 6, session 6. Acorn, Slacks, and Jack. Just GG's, man. They played so well today. Like, I think it was just a beautiful shot watching a wide shot of them as a 3-man pack, layer changing.
Yeah.
You know, it was just so clean. You could just tell they were in form. You could tell it was their victory lap at that point.
It's really nice to see them. You're talking about the wide shot, to see them dynamically, shift in terms of how their split is going, right? If there's a congested layer, they start to get tighter and tighter together. If they have it all to themselves, they're opening up and looking for so many. Yeah, exactly. It's really cool to see. And clearly it's a viable strategy and one of the best of everything. 69 points, 18 points of everybody else. We do have an interview, our last interview in Ninja Battles. Acorn is with us. Can you hear us, man?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, congratulations, dude. You do it. Ninja Battles, you guys were here in the last 2 weeks. Not quite pushing through. You almost did it last time. But what was different this time? It felt like you guys were firing on all cylinders.
Well, last time we won the first game, and we started playing passive. We started playing our mats and just dying end game, not getting to the placement points. But this week we were like, we're just gonna play aggro. We're just gonna play how we've been playing, get on people's walls, get the refreshes, and it worked out.
Yeah, I noticed in the end game, you guys did an exceptional job layer changing. Do you guys have who's your IGL? Basically, is what I want to know. Like, which one of you guys in the trio is the one that's kind of leading you guys through that end game?
I'm the IGL, but we both we all take over tarps here and there. If we find a better layer, we call it, just a little bit of teamwork action.
I want to know how Slacks is fitting into the duo chemistry of you and Jack, because it feels like Slacks is a perfect addition to what you guys have going.
Well, yeah, I mean, he fits in really well. Like, he's a good fragger. He knows how to get kills. I mean, he sees things well. I mean, it works out.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like Slacks is someone who is kind of under the radar, right? No one was really, I guess, meshing well with him as far as the teams were going. So if you guys pick him up, find a lot of success. Are you guys excited for the upcoming tournaments? And where is it that you guys are dropping exactly again?
For sure, we're excited. We're dropping near Slurpy Swamps. It's like a split over there with the bridge, the hydro bridge. It's been working well.
Got it.
I want to know how you felt about Ninja Battles overall. I want to know about your, the 20 teams versus the 33 teams, how it worked out, and if there was differences that you felt entirely. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's crazy. 20 teams. Our split wasn't that good because it's like a realistic split. We're not getting like a whole POI like all the other teams. When I saw it was 33 teams, I got so excited yesterday. I knew we were gonna win it. And it just
Wow.
happened.
That's very interesting. Like, you guys obviously understand that when you're under the real simulation, it makes a lot more sense versus the strategies. And I mean, we saw that from Cal Zexenum, right? The way they were just doing these ridiculous, just literally taking up a 15% of the map up in the corner somewhere. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy.
All right, Acorn, well, congratulations, man. That was a fantastic week. We definitely want to see more of that in future tournaments, FNCS combined as well. I mean, you guys have been popping off, so we definitely expect to see it. We're going to let you go. Any shout-outs before we do?
Go follow Jack, FN, Twitter, and go follow Slacks. That's really it.
There you go. A man of his teammates. Thank you so much, Acorn. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Well, champions of Ninja Battles, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, like you heard. Go follow them on Twitter. Fantastic people. And if you're not familiar with Acorn and Jack, they kind of rose to prominence through the FNCS duos. And now all of a sudden, they really are a top tier competitor.
Yeah, they're very much on the scene. They've solidified themselves as a strong team, and not only that, as individual solo players, they've had relatively great performances, qualifying their ways through all the DreamHack Grand Finals. So respectable to each their own, and now banding together and showing up big.
Yeah, well, guys, if that really tickled your fancy for competitive Fortnite, don't worry. Ninja Battles might be over, but Fortnite is not done on this channel. You'll be able to watch much more, and we definitely got to thank Epic for supporting the events, and a huge thanks to Ninja, not only for dropping on the cast with us one time, but playing in all these weeks and providing his platform for this tournament. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And of course, for me, it's just a pleasure being here. I'm always humbled to take another opportunity to do some Fortnite competitive with you, Ball. Of course, this has been a great time, and yeah, feel free to take us home.
Guys, thank you so much for watching every single week of Ninja Battles. I've been Ball of TW, and I've had a blast covering this event. That's it from us. That's it from the production team. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon.